Charter sucks.
Hello and merry holidays to all of you listening and watching via your eyes and your ear holes. That's right, it's the Midweek Addiction has come back for a Thanksgiving Eve special episode of the Gamehuggers Game Hump podcast. We're joined with three incredibly smart guys. My name's Joshua Turbo. This is the three incredible guys, the best, believe me, the best, most incredible guys you'll ever meet in your entire existence. First, I'll introduce you, Connor, also known as Tweak. How you doing, Connor?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing just fine. Then I will, as always, every week we have our good friend Danold, Drake Dargan Master Dine.
Hello.
How are you, Dan?
I'm doing okay.
And then we have the master of funk himself. That's right, the creator of FX Unit Yuki. Henshin Engine Saru Maro-san is here.
Well, hello, everybody.
And then our fourth guest of the week. And I have no idea how he made it here. I'm kidding. No, I actually invited him. He's a great guy. He's direct from Japan. Our good friend, Electro Hayes. How you doing, buddy?
What's up?
Hey, what's up? How are you, sir? Oh, my God, you're here.
Oh, not bad. I'm just, I just got back from the gym. And this shit's working. That's good.
Were you doing squats? Did you do lots of squats?
Actually, I did do squats today.
I'm so proud of you. That's good. We need more keister shots.
I hate doing leg exercises, and today I didn't have much time, so I did leg exercises because I knew it'd be over quick, right?
Nice. Yeah, I know, dude. That's cool because you do a lot of biking and stuff too.
Yes.
Biker man.
Yes, I do.
Biking all around Japan?
I like cycling. My city is flat, so it's quite easy unless I head to the mountain direction.
So you're right now, you are broadcasting from your new house. You built a home in Japan.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't build it.
You had someone build it for you.
Yes.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Maybe you can share some stories about that experience with us today.
Oh, I most certainly can.
Cool. So it is so for the Americans on this show right now. Well, we're all Americans, unless Connor, are you Canadian? I don't remember. No. Anyway, the Americans that are in the time zone of human beings. This is all Thanksgiving Eve. However, for you, Tim, it's Thanksgiving right now, like you're in the future.
Oh yeah, I sort of forgot about Thanksgiving. It's not really a thing here at all. So,
do you guys celebrate Boxing Day?
No.
Oh,
but they do enjoy playing Ring King around that time.
Do you enjoy playing Ring King around that time? Why do you go to Ring King? Why not Tyson's Punch Out or
Because in Japan they didn't have Mike Tyson licensed.
Buster Douglas.
Oh yeah, that's right. They just called it Punch Out, right?
Yep.
There was a Mike Tyson's Punch Out on the Famicom.
There was.
Was that a special edition that was won through a contest or something?
That was the gold one. I think it was or something.
So I think your cat is scratching your microphone or something because I keep hearing a.
No,
that or
so
a
actually,
monster is walking around.
See the cat flying around back there.
Him shredding up my window shade over there, which he likes to do if he's not shredding up my bookcase. So.
Oh man, don't let him do that. That looks like a nice window shade.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think the first thing we can do is talk about pickups and shit like that. Anybody's got anything recently that they picked up? I'll go ahead and start. Scary story. Not really a scary story. It's sad. I need to. Pretty sure I'm going to hell for this, but we wound up doing Christmassy type things already today. We did some Christmas shopping, and I put up a freaking Christmas tree with my kids today. But so there isn't a whole lot of opportunities for me to get everybody together. I've actually got one adult in my house. Kid's going to be 20 in January, and then my second oldest is going to be 18 in May. So we were talking about how this is one of the last holidays we're going to have together as like a big ass family. So we did some Christmassy shit before Thanksgiving. We put up a Christmas tree, did some decorating, and we ran around and did some Christmas shopping further. And we were just kind of grabbing like family things to put under the tree for Christmas morning. And one of those things I grabbed from the store was the Arcade Classics Ms. Pac-Man arcade cabinet. These little mini arcade cabinets. These are
Josh,
actually
where's mine? Send me one.
it's in the mail. I'm not telling you which one you got. Anyway, it's kind of cool. They're like fairly good quality actually. And the images are like it feels like it's a like that's not bad. That's actually pretty cool.
That seems pretty solid, honestly.
Right? Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. So yeah, Christmas morning I'll have to pull that out and check it out, see what it was. It was like $15 at a store or whatever. So
That joystick does not look comfortable at all.
Dan, am I the one that's doing the scratching sounds, or is that somebody?
It could be. Somebody's scratching.
Yeah,
It's
like
not
really
me.
loud.
All right. Well, if we hear it again, we'll just go through and test somebody's mics and see who's it is. Otherwise, I think Connor, that's you, dude. So, yeah, it just a great like scratch.
It hurts me.
All right. Did it stop now?
It did.
All right. Connor actually muted you. I don't know if you want to like unhook your mic and try rehooking it or something or whatever. But it was really
some contact cleaner up on in that. You know what I'm saying?
Did you say bunion in that?
I said get some contact cleaner up on in that. You know what I'm saying?
Up on in that, yo.
Up on in
Anyway, so that's pretty much it.
I got a toy.
What else?
I'll
let you hear the toy, yo.
Yeah, my
Need to see
friend
it.
gave me this. I haven't assembled it yet. It's a Cubert. The Lego Cubert. Well, not actual Lego, but. All right.
You got a toy? What? Let's see. Wait. Show it up. Show it again. I missed it.
Here we
Oh
go.
my god.
I gotta
That's so
assemble
cool.
this guy.
I want one.
That's pretty sweet.
My friend bought this, and he came visited from Osaka, and he brought this as a housewarming gift. And
Dude, nice.
I have to assemble it.
I love
Because-
Cubert.
Cubert's awesome. It's kind of a misunderstood game. You know, people like play it for a second, they're like, I don't get it, and then they die. And it's actually really fun.
It's,
like,
it's
yeah.
the reason I hate isometric games, or at least one of it, which is the viewpoint definitely throws you off. And I get that Cubert is a classic, simple-to-play game, but how many people here have played Cubert and looked at the view and said, okay, I'm going to go down, and then you fall to your death
Oh yeah.
because you actually
Yeah,
meant
Of
to
course.
go
Yeah.
down right or down left. I think
Mhm.
that's kind of the trick to the game, is it had a very interesting pseudo 3D in the sense that kids would like draw a cubical block in school and say, look, it's 3D. I'm going to be a 3D artist someday. I'm going to make crappy movies. And what winds up happening is, I don't know. I think Cubert is an interesting character. I think there's a lot of fun things that could have been done with it, but that original game isn't so great. Also, it's the home to my favorite terrible port of an arcade game ever. Who here has played an Atari 5200 ever?
I played an Atari 5200. It's pretty terrible.
Okay, now who here has played Atari 5200 Cubert?
I don't think I have.
So-
Is it like Atari 8-bit Cubert? Because that's what I had and
It's
grew up
worse.
with.
So
Really?
here's the because the Atari 5200 has a problem, and that is the controller doesn't work. So the controllers
Oh,
are
yeah.
limp. So they flip in one direction. So there are certain 5200 games that were designed to compensate for the fact that the controller will go limp and stay in one direction. And that's that they have you press a button to confirm your movement. So if you're playing Atari 5200 Cubert, you have to press the direction you intend to move, then press the action button to confirm you actually intended to move there, and the joystick didn't just go limp.
Oh my god.
Is that for real? Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Frogger also functions the same way. But Frogger at least doesn't have an isometric viewpoint in addition to the shit terrible controller
Yeah.
to battle with.
That is rough.
Don't get me started on the 5200. It's Atari's.
It's enormous, first off.
It's stupid. It's a pointless release because all they did was take the Atari 8-bit computer and stuff it in like a new case, and then released new games that were already released for it.
Yeah.
with
the
a
only
terrible
great-
controller.
With a terrible controller. Yes.
With an AV box that sparks and runs
Yeah, I
power
know.
to the system.
We've all seen the AVGN video. Yes.
I've seen my basement, and it's terrible.
But the one thing you do, the only good thing about the 5200, if you want to say that's good, is that the Atari 8-bit computer, it has the same hardware inside it, and a few of the games that they released for the 5200 were actual complete rewrites of the games. So you would think they would just port them over, but instead they rewrote them. And some of them, obviously not the ones you mentioned, but some of the games are actually better than the Atari 8-bit versions. And people since then have ported them back, if that makes sense to you. So
Okay.
I have an Atari 8-bit computer, and I actually have an Atari 5200 multi-cart that someone like made
nice.
that you can play the 5200, the good 5200 games, because and the Atari 8-bit computer can use Sega Genesis controllers. It's the same 9-pin DIN connector, so you can use good controllers.
Nice.
And me personally, I'm a big Atari guy. When I say Atari, a lot of people think Atari is synonymous with the 2600, but to me, Atari is the whole scope of things. And to me personally, I'm all about the Atari 8-bit computer line, and that was my first game console, and that's what I love. Awesome. Atari. What can I say? I can ramble about it all day.
So one quick thing, you mentioned that you have an Atari 5200 multi-cart. In Japan, do you actually have a North American Atari 5200 with you? And when you brought it, did they say, "Is this where you're going to live"?
No, I have no. Let me clarify. It's a multi-cart for the Atari 8-bit computer, like Atari 800 XE, but it has 5200 games on it.
Got it. Okay, I've seen the other way around where they have the 5200 multi-cart and people will load those up with Atari 8-bit games and it works as well.
Yeah, the only problem with that is you have shitty controllers to use, so right?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Saru, how are you, sir?
I didn't actually pick up anything.
Nothing at all?
Oh, wait. Speaking of Qbert, I picked up one of those, the Qbert mini cabinet.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I have
How was that?
Downstairs somewhere. It's cool. It's just like the real thing. I actually loved Qbert. Like, I was really into Qbert when I was a little kid, like 3-4 years old.
Were you a big fan of the cartoon?
No, not really.
What about Pac-Land?
I liked Pac-Land.
Pac-Land was a good show.
Cartoon. And I liked the game too. Pac-Man was really good in the arcade.
Actually, I'll be right. I'm gonna go find that card. I'll be right back.
My favorite Qbert game is Qbert 3 for the Super Nintendo. I love
never
it.
played anything other than the original. I was like a Qbert whiz kid though. It's like my parents would just like dump us off and they'd go gambling.
You were the wizard.
We would just play. I would play Qbert for hours. And then my brother and cousin would come and like take my quarters so I couldn't play Qbert.
Yeah, Qbert 3 has like a really cool soundtrack and amazing like awesome effects in the background and stuff. Like it really takes advantage of some really cool looking sprite action.
Yeah, other than that, I didn't really pick up anything though, other than that Qbert thing and
Nice.
Pokemon for the Switch.
Is it like one of these things, like the arcade classics or whatever?
The Qbert one? Yeah, it's just like that.
Oh, cool.
Just a joystick.
It plays well?
Yeah, it plays pretty decent. Not bad.
Does it have the sound effects and the fake swearing?
Yeah, it's just like a little emulation thing. So,
Yeah, it's crazy because it even has like the intro screen and everything like that. Like it's loading and stuff like that. I'm like really wondering what system's in there. Is it like a little Raspberry Pi or something?
probably. Like,
Or some very cheap ARM system and some variation of MAME?
Oh, you mean those mini arcades?
Yeah.
I actually watched a YouTube video on someone who busted one open. And the funny thing is about those, not all of them, but some of them have like more than one game. All you got to do is like flip a little switch inside. It's like they made.
Oh, no way,
like,
really?
Seriously. Like I saw someone in a YouTube video pop one open.
Oh, no way.
And there's like a black resin on like a chip. It's like all in one chip kind of thing. And there's like a little dip switch inside and you could play, I can't remember which release it was, but they had one that was like 2 games. The other one was like 2 games. So they only released one and then they just changed the outside. Yeah. It's not a Pi. It's total integrated circuit, like made in China crap, but it's good. Oh, here's that multi-card. It's total homebrew thing picked up about 10 years ago. Good old Atari. If you ever, Josh, you've ever run across any Atari 8-bit computer stuff, think of me.
Okay.
Because I want it.
All right, man.
Ah,
Nice.
I like my old games. You know how it is. You know, it's like the first for me, it was like 1983, like Christmas morning. You know, that was my
Dude.
first. I think it was. I think I didn't understand at the time, but the reason I think my parents picked up that Atari 8-bit computers probably because it was on sale because of the video game crash.
Yep. That's so funny because that was Christmas morning for me in 1984, where my parents got me a Tandy color computer, and I got
they did the same thing, right? They like this is on sale. Let's get Joshua some games, right?
Yep, the Coco 2 was being clearanced, and the Coco 3 was on its way in, and yeah, that's how I pretty much. I remember my parents said we spent $100 on this computer. It's like,
ooh,
damn.
And the disappointment years later when they made the Coco movie.
Wait a second, Coco was a good movie. The Pixar one? That's a great movie.
But in any event, just tied to that, I actually remember being a really little kid and going to like a dollar store or a 99-cent only store and seeing bins of Atari 2600 games and looking at the covers, and you would see these games that would have like a frickin' rock album cover. So it would show you like a cherry, and it would show you like a dragon with like wings and stuff. They would look really cool, and you take these games home and they like barely operated.
Yeah.
Well, it is Atari 2600. There was no filter, you know. I mean, there are some classics, fun games on that, but
yeah,
so many games were released, and Atari didn't really control what was going on there.
Exactly. I mean, when there was no filter, the only thing you had to say to the companies that were making that game was, "Hey, man, nice shot," but they really didn't get it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No, the 2600 exactly. I think there were some real good gems for it, and it's a lot of really fun games. But yeah, it was so funny. I remember seeing the same thing with the clearance bin when the NES was starting to come around, or like the mid to late 80s when the Atari 2600 was being clearanced at most shop goes and Walmarts and Pomida. I don't know if anybody had any of those around, but we had those all over Wisconsin. And Dan's just like, I just got shit under me, and no, it just smells so bad in here. But 2600 games, yeah, I remember seeing like football and God, was it Journey? Journey had a game.
Yeah, the Journey game is one of the ones I remember getting at the dollar store.
You're talking about rock album covers. I'm looking at it like Journey. I thought that was a band. Like, why is there in the 2600?
Why is
That's
there
a
a game?
collector's item, man. You can play your Journey game while listening to your Journey record. It could be the ultimate hipster like Journey.
Dude, it was Journey records, but it was also Journey 8-tracks that looked like cartridges. So I was really confused. I'm like, what? These are like, which one's the game? Which one's the music thing?
I hate those damn 8-tracks. I remember when every time I used to go to those swap meets, the outdoor swap meets, and I'd run across the table 8-tracks. I'd get excited and think they're Atari games.
I thought that too. And you like flip them,
right?
You see the little like the thing under the tape on the bottom. It's like,
no, it's not a game. It's just a stupid 8-track.
All right,
well,
so
as long as you kept up your hope and didn't stop believing that you'd find games,
goddamn
would
man,
work out.
Dan, I've heard rumors of your massive pickups lately. Do you have a story to tell us about that?
I do, and at some point I'll have a whole lot of stuff to dig out of the basement and bring up. But I have a more recent pickup that came from a recommendation from one of the folks who is occasionally on this show, and that is our good friend Mr. King Drool. Now, he recommended that I pick up Wipeout Omega, which sounds like the name of a breakfast chain here in the Chicago area, but is in fact a version of the Wipeout series, and it plays like kind of a knockoff F-Zero that looks like a Dreamcast game. What makes this interesting, though, is that Wipeout Omega has a VR mode for the PlayStation VR.
Nice.
So if you buy the game and you have 7 gigs worth of free space on your hard drive to install updates, you'll eventually get a VR mode if you have the PSVR, and it's kind of interesting, though it was the type of thing that certainly wasn't developed from the ground up of being a VR game and was just kind of a hack onto an existing game. So the positive is it's a game that uses the PSVR, and it uses it moderately well. The downside is you're spending the entire game in the cabin, so you're looking and you're like, oh, I see that the interior of the cabin beyond what's directly in front of me is entirely black. So it kind of doesn't use that virtual reality experience quite to the degree that you would like it to. But overall, for $20 or so, it was not a bad pickup if you have the bandwidth to download that. Another friend of several people here on the show lives in a near Amish town in the middle of nowhere in Massachusetts, and literally could not download something that is 7 gigabytes because it would take several days.
Yeesh.
Wanderers from.
Wanderers from Geo.
Ish.
Wanderers from Wise.
Wise.
All right, two things.
Stop it, Josh. Stop it.
Tim,
Yeah.
I see this book in behind you. It's got a Wise logo on it. What is that? A big white tome.
This one?
Yeah, that. What is that? I see
This
it. What is
This is
You gonna
the
start
art-
reading it?
This East art book.
nice? What is
Yeah,
this?
it's got some good stuff in here. Like here, let me flip to a page of.
The ones that don't stick together.
Josh, when you said nice, did you spell that NYS?
That's how I always spell. Wow, that is awesome, man.
I have honestly, it's not as awesome as I had hoped. It's got some good stuff in it. The problem is,
I want to strangle whoever drew that chibi Adol there.
this is the older stuff.
Oh
And
yeah,
the-
there
Yeah,
you
that
go.
looks good.
Awesome. Now, the book is categorized by which game, and all the new stuff. The artwork's just shit. It's just so cookie cutter. They don't know how to draw the anatomy. It's just not good. All the old stuff, like East 1 and 2 and 3, like the PC Engine era, the 80s stuff is really, really good. But like the new games, I'm sorry, like E7 and like the Chronicle stuff, it's like
It
like
starts to get
it's like they hired that guy who
Thundercats roar.
no, it's not that
Ooh,
bad.
not that bad.
But it's just I just feel like the drawing. Let me find a bad drawing here, and I'll show you what I mean.
You had a really hideous looking Adol. A few.
Yeah, the
That was-
chibi one was
that
pretty.
was the good stuff. Here, let me find some bad stuff.
Well, no, there was a good one next to him, and then there was like super deformed, huggable Adol. Tickle me, I'm Adol.
Okay.
Speaking
So
of
here-
speaking of huggable, I just wanted to mention. Speaking of huggable, look at Andrew has joined us. Hi, buddy. How's it going?
Hey, did Dan get a new webcam?
He
Yes.
did. Doesn't he look
Holy
fantastic?
crap! I can see his face and hear him and stuff.
It's a different laptop than I was using before.
Yeah, like I see that you have like a wall and a couch, all kinds of neat
True.
stuff in that room.
This is
Okay,
true.
well, I mean,
We had
let me-
no
let me
idea.
Find some stuff here. I mean,
Just
not all,
look like your
not all of it's
ones.
bad. It's just
I-
I guess what I'm trying to say is I like the old artwork better than
No,
the new
I-
stuff.
I mean, I crashed this conversation, but I know exactly what Tim's talking about because I was having a similar conversation about '90s anime versus anime now. Like if you look at the way everything was drawn, like even just the
Yes.
bodies and stuff. Yeah, like exactly.
It's just like new art. It's so cookie cutter. It doesn't have any like heart to it. The old stuff, the 80s stuff is so much better. And you can tell by the way they painted the cells. It's all computer colored, and the old stuff, you look at the time, like this was painted.
Oh.
Someone used paint to do this.
So
It's not like-
I want to go on a quick bizarre rant that's directly related to this, and this is tied to Japanese art kind of fizzling out a little bit with the burst of the bubble economy back in the 80s. And this is specifically tied to anime, but gets into a little bit of everything. So one thing you'll notice tied to Japanese art and anime and manga design is that, yes, over the years there have been lots of stylistic changes, but specifically tied to animation, during the bubble Japanese economy, you had lots and lots of money being thrown at very, kind of crazy projects. I had some friends over about a week and a half ago and we watched Robot Carnival. And for anyone who wasn't familiar with it, it's extremely high quality, drawn on the twos, Japanese animation created not based on any existing manga or any existing property. That's basically Fantasia about robots. They gave people equivalent of millions of dollars to say, just make a bunch of short animations using the theme of robots. And what they made is absolutely beautiful and interesting and intriguing, but it's the kind of thing that would never have been financed in a normal non-bubble economy. So what you wound up happening is as we started to get into the early 90s, you would get economical changes made to the anime that was being produced. And this eventually started to trickle into how manga was made and everything else. So as Sarumaru was a big fan, for example, of Bubblegum Crisis. And Saru, what do you think happened when Bubblegum Crash came out around 91, a little ways after the bubble? What happened to the animation quality there?
Oh God, it dipped so hard.
It dipped considerably. They didn't actually revise the character designs much, but they found other ways to cut corners. What wound up happening was, as people who would become manga artists said, I want to someday turn this into an anime and make lots of money, they started to make simpler and more easy to design and more cookie cutter character designs to try to better potentially produce merchandising, manga, everything else tied to what they were designing. And that cookie cutterness has continued to fall. Now, partly that is a style, but partly it's tied to a whole bunch of outside economic factors that have impacted not just animation, but art as a whole. And that's occurred not just in Japan, but in the West as well, and that's tied to TV not being what it was and a whole bunch of other factors, which is why animation and that particular style of art isn't what it used to be from the 80s and 90s.
Here is.
I hate that. I hate that Adol. That Adol on the left, he looks like some fucking bratty kid.
No way, dude. Josh, full screen me, man. Am I full screen? Get this art on the screen. Okay. Here's like vintage Adol, and here's like.
Hold on. Go back. Show vintage Adol again.
Oh shit! I messed up the page.
Sorry.
How do you on the left? Okay. I don't like.
How do you fuck that up, man?
Very easily with my fingers.
Come on, sausage fingers.
Okay. Here's some old style Adol. It says East 3, like PC Engine East 3, Adol, MSX, all that.
Yep.
And here is Adol from East. I don't know, new one.
It's like, I don't know.
That looks like 7.
It's like, come on, man. It's like, what filter did you use in Photoshop? You know, like.
Well, it's because they switched from doing everything with like Copic markers and hand drawn. It's all done on a computer now, so it's all colored.
I mean, even this one, they tried to make a cute one. It's just. I like the old style, and so this book's okay. I mean, it's still fun. There's even some of the new stuff's good, but you know what? The biggest disappointment with this, there is no East 4 at all in this book, and the reason
Falcom didn't make it.
Well, Falcom made it with Hudson Soft. It was a joint thing, but they don't have the rights.
Wait, what do you mean Falcom didn't make it?
There's 2 releases of East 4.
Yeah, I know.
There's the
PS3 one.
Nintendo.
Well,
I'm counting. We have the Super Nintendo East 4 Mask of the Sun, and we have East 4 The Dawn of East for the PC Engine. Now, from what I understand, East 4, yes, this is the real one. The East 4, the Dawn of East for PC Engine, from what I understand, was a joint collaboration project licensed by Nihon Falcom and joint produced with Hudson Soft. And because Hudson Soft technically owns the rights, and now those rights are gone, now Konami has or whatever. Yeah. So anytime you see any re-release from Falcom or any like this art book is a licensed art book, is just the East 4 stuff is completely void from this book. Now, for the Super Famicom release, I don't know the story behind that. Can someone fill me in on that one?
Yeah. So just kind of tied to it, basically, Falcom had come up with a general plan for what East 4 was supposed to be, and they licensed one of them, I think, to Tonkin House, and the other one was to Hudson, who had licensed East 1, 2, 3 for the PC Engine, and they created their own versions of it. Later on...
You mean Tolkien House.
Tolkien House. There we go. Tonkin House.
Tonkin
House. But in any event, they had created separate versions of East 4. And Falcom had basically come up with here's a general design plan. You can do what you want. We're not actually going to develop a PC version of this or a master version of this. Some years later, they had retained the rights to what became the Tonkin House version, which was closer to the original design Falcom had provided both Hudson and them, and they were able to re-release that on the PS2.
Okay.
And that's the canon version of it. But the reason is Falcom actually did not make East 4 or East 5. I think East 5 was also possibly made by Tonkin House or some other Japanese developer, and Falcom had an outline for it, and Falcom to a certain degree, supervised production, but Falcom did not develop it themselves, and they were not the intellectual property owner of that particular version of the game. They just owned the Ys franchise and their outline of Ys. Similarly, tied to the Hudson deal, Fox Xanadu or Famicom Xanadu is in the same situation as Ys 4, where it was a, relatively speaking, with some oversight from Falcom, an independently produced product by Hudson that was licensed and is using some Falcom intellectual property.
So, okay. So the reason why we don't see any Ys 4 in those books is because Falcom doesn't consider Ys 4 canon. Ys 4 was developed by Alpha System and Hudson Soft together. And Falcom actually and Falcom had no plans on making an Ys 4. But Hudson Soft was insistent on making an Ys 4 and making it like Ys 1 and 2 because of the success of Ys 1 and 2.
Right.
And because the PC Engine at the time was still a very popular machine, they insisted to Falcom that an Ys 4 should be a thing. But Falcom didn't really have anything but a vague outline of what they wanted Ys 4 to be. So the reason why Ys 4 Dawn of Ys differs so much from any other version of Ys is because Alpha System and Hudson Soft took liberties with that game that Falcom didn't initially.
That's so crazy.
Want inside the game. So even though Ys 4 Dawn of Ys came before any version of Ys 4, Falcom doesn't consider it canon for that very reason.
It's the U.S. Gold Strider 2 of Ys.
Even knowing it's spectacular, like it's so well done.
Ys 4, like I mean,
Ys 1 and 2.
It's great. It's a great game.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, I wasn't making that comment in the sense that the game is.
Oh yeah, no.
Bad.
Well, no, it's surprising
that it's a licensed product.
Usually hand it over, and I mean, it's to me,
what
Ys
they
3,
wound up doing with Ys 4 on the Super Nintendo was a joke compared to it.
I refuse. I'm still the TurboGrafx fanboy inside of me refuses to acknowledge Ys on the Super Famicom.
No, you have it right behind you.
I know, but that was a gift. I didn't buy it. And this is Ys 3, which was released on everything, and we all know the PC Engine version. The music was awesome, but the game was.
The scrolling was shit.
The scrolling's bad.
It's still my fantasy for. I know, like Andrew will say, like it's never going to happen. It's impossible, and no programmer has that kind of time to waste. But I want someone to go in, hack the game,
clean up
fix
the
all
scrolling.
the problems, fix the scrollings,
redub it,
fix the, no, leave the bad. No, leave the bad dubbing. It has
There's no point.
Again, there is a point because for nostalgic purposes,
fix the scrolling, and while you're at it, fix.
If you fix it, it's not nostalgic anymore because then it doesn't play like the one from the '90s, dumbass.
It does. It's played like the Genesis one.
Just play the Ys 3 remake on the PC, the Ys 3 Fellatio. Play that one.
Do you guys ever play the PS2 one?
Fellatio Fellatio.
It's the best one. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I just call it Ys 3 Fellatio.
Felgana?
No, he's talking about the side-scrolling one. Wait, Ys 3, the side-scrolling one?
Oh, yes. Oath and Felgana.
So Taito made a Wanderers of Ys. It wasn't Oath and Felgana. It was actually a side-scrolling Wanderers of Ys game.
Well, I
actually liked that one.
I don't like the side-scrolling Ys. It plays like shit, so just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Well, but it's like
both versions are good. Like Oath of Felgana is this beautiful like remastering of Ys 3, and then they wound up just taking the original and just like making it spruced up with pretty graphics on the PS2.
Ys 3 is like playing Valis with fucking experience bars, except it's not as good. It's like, why am I doing this?
But the music.
The music's awesome. No, that's actually my first experience with an Ys game was Ys 3.
It's a great game. It's a lot like
how
it's
did
that?
I know. Well, I didn't have a TurboGrafx CD. I didn't have $8,000. My parents weren't rich. We had a Super Nintendo, and I got Ys 3 that way.
He's like, we weren't poor enough to have a Master System.
But,
so, Josh, you didn't do the thing like. See, for me, part of the trick was like we didn't have a CD player yet either, you know. And I'm like, well, it plays CDs too.
No, they wouldn't have gone for that. East 3 was the first one I played, and then I wound up getting the Turbo Duo with East Book 1 and 2 on it, and I was like, holy shit, this is the prequels to East 3. And then I was blown away because they were actually really, really, really fun.
East 3 is a lot like Exile. Like, it's a good game, but the fucking side scrolling isn't exactly anything to write home about.
Well,
like,
but the difference is Exile actually has like, it's not choppy. It's not a bad. Exile's not a bad game. It's just short.
no,
It's
but I
fun,
mean,
though.
the side scrolling in it is like stupid. It's not a Castlevania. Like, it looks like it should feel like one, but it's really dopey and it's too easy.
I don't think East 3's levels designs, there's only like 5 levels, but I don't think those levels are badly made. I mean, the mines and the stuff
game
that you're...
itself,
but I think
the game itself is not bad. It's just the whoever ported. I don't.
Yeah, it's
I
the
don't know what it was
implementation.
originally written for. You know, it's like
right.
there's so many versions of it. Who wrote the original code, or was it just coded? Did someone just code the same game over and over again on like 10 formats?
Here's the real problem with the PC Engine East 3. It's like they took the guy who said like, "Hey, we saw that version of that 8-bit Ninja Gaiden game you did for the PC from the Famicom and ported it to PC Engine. Remember how you made the backgrounds really, really choppy and the hit detection bad? Well, guess what? We're gonna have you do East 3."
Well, my actual guess is that, you know, it was written for PC 98 or whatever, and those ones, I bet you they were scrolling in stepped offsets like that. Did Sardis drop?
I think he literally dropped his camera.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, they probably programmed it. I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing, but they probably programmed it on the old PCs where it was, you know, stepping in offsets. And when they wrote it for the PC Engine, they might have just like used the same exact concept without updating it for the fact that there's like hardware scrolling registers, and they could have done it a lot smoother because they probably just kind of like shoved the fucker over from the way it was written on the PCs. Because, you know, the scrolling on the PC Engine is different than how you would do it on a PC, because one's like, you know, bitmap screen loads and you're blitting things, whereas the PC Engine, it's sprite and tile hardware, so it's working different. But they might have just kept some of the math the same and just did stupid shit. Possibly maybe they had deadlines, were trying to get it out the door or something, and didn't really think to do that. And also, like, you know, the PC 98 and like MSX games, they had like the blocky scrolling that like the White Devil complains about constantly, but like everyone kind of generally just played those games and didn't have a fucking aneurysm about it. So they might have just said, fuck it, it's gonna be fine, because the music's fucking fine. I mean, the East 3 is not bad. It's just I prefer. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, East 1 and 2 are also dopey because you're literally just running around with your arms at your sides, just smashing into stuff. It's not like the games. The beauty of all the games is that they're simple. 3 is like a super simple side scroller compared to other side scrolling games that were out at the time.
It's true. It even feels like it has the same engine as East Book 1 and 2. Like
Yeah,
the
I mean,
sprites and everything feel the same, and it's really weird.
Because really, like, it's an action RPG. It's not an action game, so it makes sense that the action, like, you don't have to be like a bullet hell master to fucking play East 1. You just have to like have a pulse and not be an idiot. And can you line Adol up at a slight offset and kill stuff? You don't have to be like Rain Man to play it. Like, you know, there's other actiony role playing games that, like, if you play Brainlord on Super Nintendo, that game's a pain in the ass. Like, you have to have a lot of dexterity sometimes to get through shit. Whereas Ease, like, you can kind of just go and be okay.
Right.
East 3 did a lot of the same thing where, like, you can get to the point where the boss battle is like you just run up and smash the fucker, and your health bar drops, but the bosses drop slightly quicker, so you survive. It's kind of like that kind of setup where you like there's no skill required. Just like smash in head first and then wait for yourself to win. Whereas like you can't do that in Castlevania. You have to like actually not fucking suck to play those games. So I mean that's the difference. Though, is Castlevania's it's trying to be a role playing game too.
But no, tied to what you were mentioning before about Exile is that Exile is very competently programmed in terms of the combat and in terms of the hit detection and in terms of the actual gameplay and platforming elements of it. And that's what really differentiates that game from East 3 in terms of just clunkiness. And you're absolutely right. A lot of that comes from a PC port. With that said, I was making fun of the bad backgrounds a little bit, but it's interesting to see how many games did not properly use the PC Engine hardware tied to background scrolling. Like right away, the Ninja Ryukuden, Ninja Gaiden port comes to mind as that background scrolling is absolutely terrible, and in the same way that East 3's is.
But don't forget though, Exile was on the MSX and stuff too. Like,
God damn it! You had to bring up the MSX.
It actually, I prefer the MSX one, but it's more of a stylistic thing.
What about Exile 2, everyone? Did anyone actually finish that game?
Wicked Phenomenon?
The English version or the
English version? Because they like screwed it up and made it impossible.
So
artificially made it hard.
Yeah, Saru, could you finish it? I got stuck at the end and I never could finish it. I remember how pissed I was back in the day. Like, you drop like $50 or whatever on the game, and
it's like, I'm not happy. In fact, I'm quite sadler.
I beat it on the MSX. I think I beat the PC Engine. I can't remember. I played a lot of stuff on emulators. I don't own Exile 2. I think I sold it.
I would have been pissed if I had bought it back in the day for like retail price. I didn't get that till much later.
And when I bought it, it was $90, and I was thrilled. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I never tried so hard to beat a game that should have been clearable. And when I heard that they actually made it harder on, and I actually read it. There's like a really well detailed article about this online about how they messed it up.
Yeah, Victor Ireland went on to the old NeoGAF forum and basically explained that he had Working Designs didn't actually make the code changes back then, so they had Riot or whoever developed that for Telenet making the changes, and they said, we want to increase some of the enemies by a certain amount, and when they did that, instead of increasing it by say like 5 hit points, it crossed over into another register and went up by 255.
Hell fucking yeah. Math is hard.
They obviously didn't play test it.
Well, they apparently they did play test it, but they're like, well, we can't ship the game without this, and this fixed. But in the version we have where this, and this is fixed, we have all these other problems, and Riot refuses to make any more changes to the game.
That's typical Japanese business, whatever.
So that's what wound up happening, from my understanding. But there's hackers out there who have done something called unWD or something along those lines. What's up?
I was just laughing at that term, unWD'd.
They've unWD'd certain games.
On Working Design. Yeah, there's a guy who did that. He actually made correct versions of a few games.
So he went in and he corrected Exile 2's difficulty, so everything is set back to where it is in the Japanese version. Yes, and so you can, if you legally own a copy of this game, of course, I have both a US and a Japanese copy, you can download this ISO and apply this patch and apply that to your ISO and then reburn the disk, and voila, you've got a fully functional copy of Exile without the crazy difficulty. The funniest... Well, just two other things real quick, Ark, and the second thing is for Lunar 2, they did a similar thing. They did something that dropped the encounter rate for the Sega CD version of Lunar 2 to where it was in the Japanese version, and reset some of the boss difficulty to where you didn't need to grind for extended periods of time. But for April Fool's Day one year, he made a version of Lunar 1 for Sega CD that upped the experience required for almost all of the enemies and made all of the weapons in the game like 10 times more expensive. And that was the April Fool's joke, was he over WD'd it or something along those lines.
Did they add Lucia's boobs back in the un-WD version of Lunar 2?
I don't think they did. The bizarre thing about that in the Sega CD version is I think the US version shows more down low than the Japanese version does. But
they removed her boob lines. Like she's just like she's like
a
melted Barbie doll.
But you can see more of the lower part in the US version than you could in the Japanese one. Like Sega didn't care. I don't really understand that, but
I don't know. Yeah. I think I played the Japanese Exile. That's probably why I didn't have problems with it when I had an ISO of it years ago, because I don't think I ever actually played the English one of Exile 2. But I played the MSX one too. What I was saying about the MSX ones, I prefer those ones Same thing with I mentioned this about like Frey and Burai and some other games. The
Windy.
the MSX ones, they have that like 16 color charm to them, like the way the dithering and the graphics look, like they just have this weird sort of charm to them that, you know, technically like the PC Engine ones are way better looking because of the color count and it's all smooth and nice, but the weird like 16 color dithering and stuff, it just adds this weird charm to it. So sometimes I prefer playing those ones, but it's mostly a preference thing. But Burai on the MSX has like a fucking 30-minute fucking intro on the floppy disk. It's like fucking just so much crap. It was all these. Like,
Does it require another floppy disk just for the intro?
Yeah.
Because usually that's how it goes. You got the floppy disk intro, and then like with all the stuff on it, then you got the game on the other floppy disk.
It's like the Famicom Disk System games where you just flip it over just after the intro.
It's so crazy. I mean, it's a really cool intro because it's like it's got FM audio and like cool like storyboarding and like still images and all this cool crap. But it's like, man, this is a lot of build up for a game with a bunch of like fucking guinea pig people and shit. But it's a cool game though. I don't know if you guys have ever played those games. They're
I have not.
MSX
cool.
Games?
Well, no, they're on the PC Engine. Burai's on the PC Engine.
Oh yeah.
I haven't.
Those games are fucking cool.
Burai and Burai 2.
You know what I played the other day? I played I was just testing out some of my system's getting all hooked up and stuff. And I played Browning on the PC Engine.
Oh yeah, I know the game.
That's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's not horrible though. Ope said it was just one of the worst games ever.
But Josh, is it as good as Sidearm Special?
No, it's far better than that shit.
I know you. I had it. I just found an unopened copy Sidearm Special. I was gonna mail it to you.
Yeah.
Browning's problem is just that it's like, I don't like.
Browning's not bad. The graphics are good. The music's really good. I actually want to like rip this CD and make some listen to the music because I thought it was really well done. And the graphics are awesome. Parallax scrolling.
Dude,
like sure, the controls are weird and like it seems like it's got a really weird like difficulty curve, but like I don't hate it.
The fucking time limit in that game drove me nuts. Like it makes the game suck. But it's not as bad as what's the other one, Genocide. You ever play that one?
Mm-mm.
That game also sucks. But you know, Browning, like it's like a 6 out of 10. It could have been better, but it's not like I paid $3 for that game, so I don't.
Yeah, I got it for like next to nothing. Or else I got it spent to me for free. I got, you know, a couple months ago I got the Manhole. That is a fucking awesome game.
With the bunny rabbit guy on it.
Yeah, I love it. Alice in Wonderland. It's great.
Show me your manhole.
I'll show you my manhole. Thanks, Saru. That was one of the coolest things ever. I got that back in like June from you. It was awesome. All right, so we you know, before we started talking about East and just went straight on to crazy ass PC Engine mode, and of course
I love it.
That little bit of MSX conversation. Damn it, every week.
Fuck, these Slim Jims are fucking gross. Why do I keep eating them?
No idea. I can smell them from here. It's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and Tim's telling me about how important Thanksgiving is in Japan. They're gonna fly over the Mayflower and talk about Christopher.
Are you guys gonna have Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas?
Oh hell yeah! In Japan, you get your Christmas chicken, you get your Christmas cake. That's what they do.
That's so cool.
Kentucky Christmas.
Yeah, you can get. I mean, it's not just Kentucky Fried Chicken. You can get your fried chicken from like Moss Burger or 7-Eleven or.
Oh really?
Yeah, everyone's got their Christmas chicken and their Christmas cakes. It's hilarious. It's like they got like the little catalog, you know. You can get your Christmas chicken.
The cakes that they eat for Christmas blow my fucking mind. Like it's insane.
Yeah, you have your Christmas. And when Japanese people like ask me, they're like, "Do you eat the Christmas chicken back in America?" And I'm like, "No." And they like, "Really?" They just have no idea. Like they don't know. They don't know about Christmas here.
Well, we have turkey, and they don't have turkey, so it's like, what the fuck are they supposed to do? They can't eat turkey because it doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, even so, it's besides the point. Like people don't sit down for like a family dinner here at Christmas time. Christmas time here is basically, it's like a thing for couples. You like go out with your wife, husband, or wife, or girlfriend or boyfriend, and you go look at Christmas lights, and you go to a love hotel and you bang. That's pretty much what you do on Christmas.
It's like a
and you eat your fried chicken, your cake.
It's an imported holiday, so it's like what? Of course they don't fucking do the shit we do.
It's what they thought we did. That's how they got that.
They
My
thought
underst-
love hotels.
Yeah.
We don't even have those here. We got like roach motels with
No,
loves.
Yeah, dude. You haven't lived. Yeah, who here's been to a Japanese love hotel? Yes,
Never.
sir. Aren't they great? They got all the amenities. And
I
It
kept
was the only place that was like open at like 11 o'clock at night. It's like, okay, like where do we stay? And they're like, let's go to this place. They're like, it's by the hour.
I kept
People
assuming
weird
every one I went to, it's got Japanese writing on it. Yeah, buddy, get it.
Extra
Yeah.
small.
that actually fits you, right, Ark?
I actually don't have a wiener. It fell off.
No, seriously though, like jokes aside, a Japanese love hotel, it's like a good value, and it's really nice. You get all these like massage chair and like jacuzzi tub, and I stayed in one that had a sauna in it once, and like they're not that expensive, like a better deal than a regular hotel.
Yeah, they're cheaper than a regular hotel, and because they do like you can do the all night stay for like $80 or whatever.
I know, and plus they'll have like a catalog with pictures of girls, and you can like order them.
Yeah.
Well, the reason they're cheap though is because you can't do like extended stay. You don't like I'm gonna book this room for 3 weeks in advance. Like give me 3 weeks worth of this room.
Yeah, you can just do the day, but it's good, like if you get there like really late at night.
Yeah, you get it.
It seems like they're probably more out in the open there as well, because the one thing about those types of places that you find in the United States is that they're usually off to the side on some weird or seedy side street, and they're not very prominently lit, and you have to kind of know that it's there.
They're not lit at all.
Some of them are pretty prominently lit.
Well, for here they got.
Well, you're in Las Vegas, so I mean, it's like I'm in Whoretown, USA. Of course, they're prominently lit. Everything.
No, I mean in Japan, like a lot of
they got like their neon signs and Christmas lights, and they have them lit up like crazy. But there's two different like types of love hotels. You got your inner city, like you'll be in a big city, and there'll be just an area where they're all just a bunch of love hotels.
You mean
Then you got the countryside love hotels. And those are the ones where you're like in the middle of nowhere, and people like sneak off to go bang, like they're cheating, or I don't know, they don't want people to know, and they go sneak off to the mountain love hotel. And
well, what's really funny though about the love hotels in Japan, like some of the ones I went by, they put out like how like when you walk past like a cafe here, they put out that chalkboard sign with the specials. They have like signs like that out by the sidewalk with like the room rates and shit going on. And it's like right there. And like the one I went to, I tried the like last year they had the karaage that tasted like girl sweat that one J-pop band sponsored, and it was like the stand I went to get it was right next to a love hotel, so I was just eating this chicken in front of a love hotel, just like waving at people, and they're like, "Hey, dude!" Like the funny part is there was like I think there's like a super potato right nearby this place, so like all that stuff is like within walking distance of these hotels. Here, those kind of hotels, the only things within walking distance are drive-bys and crack dealers.
And the Checkers. You'll always find a Checkers near them.
Yeah.
That's Japan, I tell you.
They're called rallies here, you uncultured fuck.
Yeah, but no, but the other funny thing is like, yeah, absolutely right. They're uncommon here, and the ones that you find that are off to the side or things like that, like you have to fucking get a reservation to get one that has like a big jacuzzi room or some sort of a theme. Like it's not even something where you could just walk in and be like, hey, what rooms do you have available? It's like we've got 10 very specifically decorated and tailored rooms, and they cost a goddamn fortune unless it's a Tuesday or a Thursday.
That's why you just buy a station wagon. Use that.
Well, that's the most comfortable place from what I recall from Mallrats, right?
Station wagons.
Yeah, yeah, that movie. Hey, Josh, let's talk about TurboGrafx.
I thought when are we doing the damn Ultima episode of this fucking thing? I thought that was today.
No, that's not today. We're gonna do. This is supposed to be Thanksgiving.
Josh, TurboGrafx.
You mean thanks taking? It's thanks taking.
Jashes.
How much time we got left? We got a lot of pack in here.
We can talk as long as we want. I have nothing. Thanksgiving Eve.
All right.
Go forever.
All right.
Kidding.
Okay.
By the way, Tim, you never want to say we have a lot to pack in when Sarumaru is on here because he's got you beat.
Gross.
So, okay, TurboGrafx.
Turbo.
We've got so much
TurboGrafx.
going on. When is the new game coming, Saru?
The next game's not going to be a TurboGrafx game, actually.
I thought it was
not gonna be
the one
Lucretia?
that David Lee Perry was working on.
It's going to be a Mega Drive game. No, I can't.
Oh,
So it's
Yeah.
not gonna be
TurboGrafx.
Lucretia? No Lucretia?
Yeah, Lucretia, the one that.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Lucretia. You guys don't know how to
Oh, well,
fuck.
Lucretia's still happening. I thought you were talking about a new game.
Wait, how did you say that, Sorrow?
Lucretia?
Lucretia?
Lucretia.
I thought it was Lucretia.
Lucretia. Ow. I don't know. It just sounds like Tristessa, I think.
Could be Lucretia. I don't know. I've always said it Lucretia.
I think it's Lucretia.
Could be.
Did you guys see the pins I
I
posted?
thought it was Lucida.
Did you guys see
Andrew, hold that up again. I want to see that. I saw you were posting a whole bunch of shit.
fucking anti-PCE works buttons? Get them while they're hot.
That is.
Yeah, I
actually
want
pretty
one of those.
spectacular. I do want one of those actually.
It's the splash screen from that Not the Engine game that we put out. But yeah, fucking some boner lords posted. Look at the shooting.
I know. I saw that post.
I know the guys are
Shooting thing.
cool. I got a cassette tape with it.
Dude, that cassette tape. That's what I want. I want a cassette tape with Lords of Thunder music on it.
I
That's
can
fucking
do that
awesome.
myself. Just put the fucking CD in a boombox.
I know. That's like also the
Yeah,
90s. That's how I
it's
listened
like
to
the
the
Josh, why do I'll make you a cassette tape if you want, Josh.
Like
Those
the
bastards-
artwork and stuff.
Tape. Any
The
dick-
artwork,
they-
it looks
they-
super
they rip-
professional. How does he get this shit done? Who's making cassette tapes in this day and age?
Dude, I can make.
Did you see the pictures of him though? They look fucking amazing.
I can make him better than that fucker can. I
The
can
thing
make
is-
anything better than that asshole. Don't upplay anything
There's still audio places that will put out
bastard works make.
Well, it's
Besides, all they did was they ripped off the music from the
fucking CD.
Mega Drive version and they just stuck it on a cassette tape and did some graphics. I mean,
Well, they
what's
still-
special about that?
It looks
There's
cool.
places that still do cassette tape manufacturing. You can pick which kind of like tape to use and all kinds of crap. But
Really?
I can make cassette tapes.
Dude, that would be
Cassette
cool.
tape.
it's expensive though because it's a stupid market because you're getting a
Yeah.
it sounds like fucking garbage.
Cool though.
It's like, wasn't there an LRG print of Night Trap fairly recently that came with an audio cassette as well?
Yeah, they did something with an audio because it was a Night Trap. I remember seeing
Yeah, it was
that.
like the Night Trap theme song. You get an audio cassette.
That's crazy.
Because I looked into making cassette tapes for something
You
unrelated.
guys, I'll be right back.
All right.
It's
They were
not
super expensive.
it's not cheap to do compared to getting CDs made. It costs more to get cassettes made.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's,
And it's not worth it because like no one has it's a niche thing. Like you can get like cassettes made for like the hipster vape squad that wants to listen to cassettes, but like
Hipster
cassettes,
Vape Squad.
yeah, you know, like
They hang around coffee shops. They bring their typewriters instead of laptops.
and they bring those Crosley piece of shit turntables with their stack of shitty LPs they found at a thrift store.
You know,
That's
it'd be cool to remake, completely unrelated to cassettes, but it'd be cool if like somebody still made laser discs. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
So the problem with Laserdisc, this is something that comes up on the Laserdisc Facebook forums like every week to a point where it's people have like predefined meme responses to this. But if you somewhere there's a video of Pioneer's Laserdisc pressing facility from like the late 80s, and if you see how much what's up?
As I say, is it on fire or burning down?
It's well, I mean, it was a huge closed-off facility so that there's no contamination, and
Yep.
it was a very, very complicated process. I think it may still technically be possible for people who have the press-on type die-based laser discs to make copies.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
as of maybe 15 years ago that was still doable. The problem with those is they don't read so well on a lot of players, and it works kind of like a CDR or a DVD-R in that you're manipulating die, and it's not as
Yeah.
well written of information on the individual pits of the disc
Yeah.
to
You have a high fail rate too.
Yeah.
So
What did, you guys talk, what did I miss?
We're just talking about Laserdiscs and dead media and how the cassette tapes and stuff like that. Someone actually posted on the Laserdisc, what is it, Laserdisc Forever, whatever the group is, of a re-recordable Laserdisc.
there's a few things like that, yeah.
No, just no.
But I mean the
Did you see that?
chances of those still working, I've
Yeah.
seen there's a whole bunch of different recordable Laserdisc media that were introduced over the years, and I remember in 2002 or so, at that point in the US, the only company still making Laserdiscs, I'd like to say was iMation, still had their pressing facility up, which is where those reproduction
Yeah.
licensed reproduction Dragon's Layers came from. But the person who did those tried some of those pressing facilities that would just do the die copies, and those wouldn't read very well in the original, 1980s era Laserdisc players, and that's why those weren't used. But I suspect that those re-recordable and recordable Laserdisc formats are, functionally very similar to how CDRs and CDRWs work, and ultimately are going to have the same compatibility problems and flaws and deterioration at a high rate due to the fact that the dies just aren't as consistent as a Glassmaster disc that's using a quality alloy under the reflective layer.
Yeah. And iMation and Pioneer were like the last two people, I think, to make laser discs, and then after that it was just done.
Dude.
Bad.
Done.
Bye.
But like I think cassettes are gonna start turning into the next fucking. Everyone there's all those people that collect all the vinyl all of a sudden again. Like they buy all the game soundtracks, but then they're playing them on like garbage turntables. It's like, what are you?
Yeah, I know. It makes me nuts. So I want to go buy like the Walmart special turntable.
Yeah, like congratulations on your shit turntable that it sounds like ass. Nice job.
I will say this about the purchase of vinyl records today is that I think a lot of people buy them because it has big art. And when you open up the album, there's pictures of the band on tour and things like that. Like I don't own very many vinyl albums, and I don't even own a reasonably competent turntable, but I do have a few vinyl records. So if I open up Ride the Lightning and I look at awesome pictures of Metallica in the 1980s, I say, whoa, that's cool. And even though I didn't buy that to listen to, just having it to page through and look at and having a big, beautiful piece of art that you can potentially hang on your wall.
That's what's cool about Laserdiscs, it's just like all of that art real estate.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I buy a lot of Japanese, like, pop vinyl from the 80s for that reason, because you get the big photo inserts. But there's so many people that buy vinyl now that they just buy into that stupid, like, oh, vinyl sounds better because vinyl argument. But it's like you're playing shitty vinyl that you got at the thrift store that's been beat to hell on a shitty turntable. All you hear is popping and static and noises. It doesn't sound better. And if
I have such nostalgia for that crappy popping sound.
But if you buy a brand new vinyl now, and you don't play it on a nice turntable with like a nice stereo receiver and speakers, it doesn't sound good. It's not like you're like buying vinyl doesn't magically make it sound more gooder. That's not a thing, but people seem to think it is.
Honestly, dude, like
vinyl ever.
Do what?
New records nowadays?
Vinyl at all. Never bought a record.
I don't have any either. None.
I have lots.
Yeah, I have a ton, but I have like an actual turntable and stereo, and so I have a JVC stereo from the 80s.
So I don't know if you ever watched some of the tech channels on YouTube, but I did watch one where somebody talked about a really popular like $30 turntable, and what he basically said is it's not that bad, but you need to replace the stock needle on it.
Oh, it's not that bad. You just have to mod it so it's not a piece of shit. Got it.
That's basically for $35, you have a reasonably competent turntable because mechanically it's fine.
Perhaps that if you release the stylus and everything, perhaps I can imagine you get like a little bit better.
You generally you have to have them with the proper counterweight, otherwise it pushes into the fucking record and it damages the record as you play it.
It's so stupid. The whole concept of records is so stupid, guys. I'm sorry. It's just like
Josh, fight me.
If you want to buy them and like put them up on your walls and have like we were talking about Laserdiscs and stuff like that, how like the real estate and amount of stuff that you can put up and then like frame them, put them on a wall, and then go and download your FLAC files or MP3s or whatever. At least it's like I get it, I get that.
A lot of records now, like the records I buy, like here, I'll show you.
You got to spend 20, 30 bucks.
Josh, I actually
what was that?
I play my records. I'll like have a Sunday morning, get my Sunday morning like coffee and like pancakes, and I'll put on like a nice record.
Pancakes, put on CBS Sunday morning, listen to Charles Kuralt and listen to your records.
So like I have, I bought this
obsolete media here.
This just recently came out.
Nice.
It's the fucking Search for Animal Chin soundtrack from the Skate movie. But it came with cool shit, and like here's the fucking cool artwork for the thing. But
that is awesome.
Well, yeah, like I also just like fucking broke it. I think that's cool. It popped open. But I think these, and they're. I can't fucking get it out. Here we go.
That's what she said.
They're cool because want to touch it too much, but it's colored
That's
vinyl.
what she said.
Those are awesome.
But the other one, like this goes to the example of like the older artwork. I have a Kyon record. Hold on. This was like $3 from Japan, right? And it comes with so you pay $3 for this record, but you get like the big cool album insert that has like artwork and stuff. So
Lots of lasers have those too. Those inserts.
yeah. Well, I got so mad. Well, I was actually relieved though. I was in a store and I thought I saw a bunch of Sailor Moon vinyls, and I'm like, oh, thank God these are laser discs. I don't have to buy these because I was gonna buy them. I thought they were vinyl records because they were like $3 a pop.
Yeah, lasers in Japan are super cheap.
Yeah, well, it's fucking super cheap everywhere. I have Five on Laserdisc.
Nice, dude.
But what I want to show you though, hold on. This record, it's another one. Like the cool thing about records compared to CDs is like this record. It was actually on my turntable. It's a clear red vinyl. It's actually see-through.
Wow.
Like, so that's one of the cool things is you get these sweet fucking see-through vinyls and stuff. It's a lot different than, you know, you don't get clear see-through CDs. But what's really funny is you get the like turntable elitists. They got these laser turntables that they can't read the fucking clear vinyl because the laser passes through it.
Oh no.
You know, I actually heard those laser turntables, they're too expensive, and I heard the sound quality wasn't very good on them
You get
anyway.
these ass clowns that think, oh, I got this $3,000 laser turntable. I can fucking hear meteors while I'm listening to this fucking record. And it's like, yeah, but it also can't play your fucking record because it's see-through. So
What about those I'm sorry, what about those portable turntables? I've seen people that have those like little things where like clamshells and they kind of clamp down and then the record like hangs out.
Those are cool.
Those are shit. They ruin your record.
Those are shit.
So are they shit or are they
Not the old
cool?
ones.
Well, they're cool, but they're shit. So like, don't.
Like everything is shit to you, Ark. Like you
Well,
have
no.
Yeah, everything is shit to
There's
it.
like
Yeah, I
really,
know.
really cool shit and then there's shit. And it's like,
It's
which
like
is it?
those things damage your record. So if you're buying brand new reissued fucking mint vinyl, that's like you paid $40 or $50 for this fucking vinyl, and you stick it on one of those things, it gradually ruins the vinyl. Then it starts creating all those popping noises and stuff that you
Every
don't
single one of those, every brand of those portable smaller ones do that.
Yeah, but they're garbage. They're not weighted, so the stylus it pushes into the record and it fucks with them. And like they've even got that one that looks like a Volkswagen bus. It's cool, and you stick it on top of the record, and it like drives around it. And plays.
Oh, well, that thing's a joke, man. That will ruin your record. It's a little toy car that runs around on top of your record. That thing's silly.
Yeah, they damage the records. But if you're playing like, 30-year-old thrift store vinyl, like it doesn't matter. Go ahead and use it because they're already fucked up because everyone was playing them on like their shitty Sears turntables anyways. But you get these people that are buying like brand new reissue, like sweet, like heavy-weighted vinyl. And then they play them on these garbage turntables, and it's like
Heavyweight vinyl.
Yeah, like you could just go buy like instead of buying like the brand new Clash reissue of London Calling, just go buy the original that's already fucking beat up and play it in your shit turntable. Don't waste money on the new one.
Honestly, man, I mean, we could talk about records forever, but I'll just say this: they don't make them like they used to. I don't think any of the new records they're putting out, like I don't know what they're smoking in the pressing plants, but I've bought new records that just. They come defective more than once.
Well,
old records sound better.
You get some of the records now. They're actually heavier than the old records. So
yeah, and that's also pointless.
Yeah,
like the 180, the 180 gram vinyls. It's snake oil, man.
I bought a record. I had to return it. The fucking hole was like off center. Like the hole to put like the record on the turntable was like off, it's skewed. So like it's like, well, that's not good. The record don't work right now. It needs to be perfectly circular. Thanks, guys. Had to send it back. But yeah, no, the whole vinyl thing's stupid. The whole audiophile thing is stupid because you get those people that go, look, dude, I bought this grounded power supply and these audio cables made from meteorite cores. So it's like the best sound fidelity possible, and it's like, fuck up.
And then they're using like shitty headphones. It's like
yeah, they put their freaking skull candy headphones in.
I liked those, but they're shitty.
Yeah, they put some stupid crap like that in, or they play their fucking like 80-year-old vinyl that just sounds like someone threw it down a flight of stairs. It's like, that's neat, I guess. And you can really hear the separation of sound with all those popping noises and shit. Was like
I have such good memories of the shitty record sounds
Why-
of
this
people
one.
falling downstairs.
There's a coworker I don't really talk to. He would go on these kicks about vinyl, and the one day, like, I asked him, like, well, he was describing stuff, and I asked about the popping noises. He goes, yeah, that's like part of the charm. I'm like, no, that's part of the damage. And I'm like, do you think there was a guy in the studio, like, his job in the band was to make popping noises during the...
I love the crackle.
Yeah, what instrument do you play? The crackle.
He's a Foley artist.
Yeah, it's like, people are so stupid. Like, they just... They buy into, like, they hear a couple of, like, half-truths and buy full into it without thinking about it. It's like the RGB crap.
Yeah, or someone talked about it, and they were like, "Oh man, he totally knows what he's talking about."
And now people are like, I can't play anything unless the display has 740 lines and is pure RGB. I just can't play without it. I can't use consumer-grade televisions anymore. It's like, fuck off. I'll play on a black and white Sears TV with one of those screw box things if I have to. I don't give a shit. There's people that, like, they won't play without, like, their fucking PVMs and fucking whatever the hell. What's the other one? The Ikegamis and all the other stupid shit. It's like, who gives a shit? None of that crap is important.
I like bleeding sprites. The colors
makes-
take over.
So just kind of
yeah.
just kind of getting into that conversation real quick, I want to go on to two topics. First off, tied to vinyls, I think one other thing that's worth noting is, like, I've actually bought a music CD today on Amazon. And when I bought the CD, it gives me the ability to stream it for some undetermined amount of time afterwards. So at that point, at least digitally,
Nice.
I have a copy, and then I will have even though CDs are digital, I'll have a physical CD copy of it on Friday or whenever when it comes from Amazon. I guess the second thing is tied to the RGB monitor whole conversation. I will say this. I remember going to conventions and things and seeing PVMs and stuff set up and saying, oh, that looks nice. Until you have at very close range and seen the difference between composite and S-video and component and depending on what system you're playing, and seeing the differences in the video quality, it's something that is harder to appreciate. And I will say this, like a very good consumer television from 2005 using, say, HD Retrovision cables hooked to a Neo Geo looks almost as good as an older PVM does. I'm not, and you can get those cheap consumer TVs that have component video from maybe 2005 dirt cheap, while even a 20-year-old late 80s PVM will cost you a couple $100. Well, the improvement there isn't quite to the same degree that you're saying, but there is a difference depending on how picky people are.
Well, a couple of years ago, though, well, like more like 6 years ago.
I gotta drop. I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
All right, sorry, we'll be good.
Bye, y'all.
Happy
Later,
Kwanzaa.
buddy.
I had all the CCAG shit. I had like two 1084 monitors and hang on, I'm yelling what's going on my
Quiet.
And no dead air, man.
I had two 1084s and a 1080, and they were all composite. And someone's like, "Oh, dude, the RGB quality is so good." I'm like, "This is composite, you idiot." But I didn't have anything RGB mounted. It was just straight composite. And
I love the 1084 monitor, 1084S. They're great monitors.
Well, yeah, but I had composite. People were like, "Oh my god, the RGB is so good." And it's like, yeah, it's not.
Well, if it's a really good quality monitor and your system is in good condition, if it's a strong composite signal, the game's going to look and play and look much better than it ever did when you connected it to just a typical TV.
Well,
and let me tell you something, like, this, like, a lot of the graphics back then were designed to be played on a composite monitor. I mean, what is dithering? Dithering, when they do the dithering with the pixels, you can get additional colors because of the composite screen. When you put it on a too sharp of a screen, you see all the dithering. Everyone's like, I can see the detail. Yeah, you can see what the artist doesn't even want you to see.
You don't get extra colors because of the composite screen. It's just a blur. Like, if you dither,
I know you don't get. You mean your eyes perceive extra colors is what I'm saying.
They'll do that even with RGB. The problem is with RGB, it's so crisp. Like, you have to stand further back to notice. If you get right up on an RGB screen, it's too crisp. The composite adds that weird blur. But For a lot
Yeah,
of
I mean, composites blur. The blur is actually helpful for the graphic designer, and I know they did it that way. I mean, I remember when I had my Amiga computer and I was playing games on it,
The
and
Amiga.
The Amiga, and I remember playing Monkey Island, great game, and I remember I remember a lot of the graphics, the skies and things were dithered in that game, and I remember when I switched over from like composite to RGB or whatever the Amiga had, and I just hated it. I actually had to switch back. I thought it was gonna be great. This is back in like the early '90s. I got like a fancy monitor and like a new cable, and I connected it, and I hated it and went back to the old one. So it just goes to show that like, yes, it can be better, but the graphics, it's not like modern PCs nowadays where you have millions of colors. When you're only displaying, 32 to 64 colors on a screen.
RGB is like super useful. One, if you don't have any CRT, because plugging the composite into like an HDTV sucks. But like composite on like older, like the MSX, if you do composite, like some of the text is hard to read. So it's like, okay, you should probably use RGB or something. But for a lot of it, yeah, like I've played with composite, and it's like it's good enough. Like I get like if you play the Mega Drive with composite or RF, it looks pretty shitty, but that's just the Mega Drive has crap composite apparently. But if the PC Engine's composite is actually like, really good. Like
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, and it depends a bit from not just the system, but sometimes the individual games, or sometimes even the variation of the system. Like I've got a very old Neo Geo AES, and the composite video that comes out of it is garbage, and it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
RGB is crystal clear. So if you're using something that's going over RGB, and keep in mind these games were all designed to be arcade games and displayed on RGB compliant arcade monitors.
Right.
Everything from the ground up was designed to be played on a very sharp, very clear screen. You notice an enormous difference just jumping between one type of video to another. So when you go from composite to RGB, the jump between that on my AES compared to, say, I don't know, the Super Nintendo, the jump on the Super Nintendo is very good, but the Neo Geo is much, much bigger of a jump because every single game was designed with RGB as the primary intended video monitor, since most of the games were designed originally to be arcade games, and the gap in quality between the video encoder they were using for composite and getting straight RGB out of the system is way greater.
All right. So before we shift gears from our old media, audio, and everything, and jump into our final topic, which will hopefully be talking about the holidays and like Thanksgiving memories and gaming things, because usually a lot of times too, as kids, in school and stuff, you probably got breaks from schools during the holidays. Maybe you were renting games. You have some good memories of getting games for the holidays, whatever we could chat about for a little bit here. But I wanted to quick jump into something here too, real quick. We do have some comments in the chat. I appreciate most of them are from our very, very, very loving friend Tim Houston, who says, and Tabitha too. She jumped in and she was talking about when we were talking about those hotels, those salty by the hour hotels.
Oh, I love hotels.
She was asking if Nintendo still runs any of those.
No, they closed them all in the 70s.
And Tim made a comment saying, a couple comments, but I'll try to filter through the good ones. I'm kidding. But he said laserdiscs and vinyl are for people who like to buy things more than actually use them.
That's not true for vinyl, man.
And as far as the quality of video on arcade games and stuff, what you guys were just talking about, he said most arcade games use dithering, which were designed for RGB monitors. So yeah, the AES on a regular AV is probably, or AVs and coax and whatever they had for their generic connectors to old school TVs and shit were probably not.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Josh, you have laserdiscs, right? You collect them.
I do.
Do you watch them?
I watch every single one. Yep.
Well, there you go.
well, he's
I
right
do.
about
On Halloween, we watched Halloween. We watched Pet Cemetery, and then I have the original, like fucking awesome scary movie. Wow, my brain. Anyway, we watched laserdiscs. It's fun. I like doing.
Yeah.
doing stuff like that all the
I
time.
listen to my records and I think it's fun. So, you know, I'm not a shelf collector for that. And you're not a shelf collector for lasers. So
No,
there
there
you
are
have
a
it.
lot of people that buy that crap and don't actually use it though. They just want to post.
There's a lot of people that buy everything. There's people that
Yeah.
buy every Nintendo cart and they don't even play any of them. I know people that have tons and tons of retro games and movies and all kinds of shit. And they don't, you know. And now this new thing that's even crazier. It's all over Facebook now. Is people collecting VHS tapes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I got rid of my VHS tapes a long time ago.
The thing about the dithering thing though is like some stuff like like NES games use dithering. Like Final Fantasy is a good example. Like the stones, it's black and gray, but the way they dither it, you get extra shading on accident.
Yep.
So not everything was designed for arcade monitors in mind with dithering. Like look at the Sega Genesis. Like its favorite color is dither. Like
I know because they only got like 32 colors on the screen, so they gotta like
brown.
You had to dither on the Genesis to get anything to not look like shit. The only game that like pulled off not dithering out the ass was like Phantasy Star 2 and 4. They don't dither a shitload because they have like a different like the art style. You know, you can get away with the like doofy ass coloring.
Well, and we need to be very clear when you're saying that the games in the Genesis look like shit. We mean they are brown.
Well, they don't look like. I don't think Genesis games look like shit. Some of them do just because they look like shit. Even if they have more colors, it wouldn't help them. But a lot of the games that use a lot of dithering don't look bad. Like one of the ones I can think of where dithering is so heavily used but looks great is like I always call it Ristar. It might be Rystar. I don't know.
I always said Rystar.
Yeah, that game uses dithering everywhere. Or like Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, and those games look amazing on a really nice with a like a 1084, like a nice composite monitor in composite. They look good, but if you blow them up on like a large modern screen and have your system all modded out and RGB out, and it's very crisp, you just see a bunch of crisp, dithered, giant, blown up picture, and it looks like crap. Yeah. The games weren't meant to be played like that. They were meant to be played in a shitty, blurry screen. That's the way they developed them.
You're a shitty, blurry screen.
Yeah, sometimes. Hey, Joshua, I want to talk about what I'm doing over here. I forgot.
I want to hear. I want to hear it. Talk to me, baby. What is it? Is it 12:20? No, it's 1:20 p.m.
I don't know. I'm starting to get hungry.
You're gonna have lunch or miss lunch.
I just wanted to mention that I'm doing a reprint of my thing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, this one.
Gates and Lords of Thunder, which, by the way, Lords of Thunder is the superior shooter between the two.
No, Gates is. Andrew, what do you like? Do you like Gate of Thunder or Lord of Thunder better?
He'll probably say Lords of Thunder. Such a fucking hipster.
No, I mean, I don't really like either of them, if that makes sense.
Shut up. God, what is wrong with you?
Shut up, man.
I don't like a lot of horizontal shooters. I like if either of those games went up, I would probably love them a lot more, but I think I probably
There's parts of Lords of Thunder that scroll up and down.
Yeah, I think I probably would pick Gates of Thunder over. Probably Gate of Thunder. I'm just trying to think back because I don't play them very often anymore, and I remember it having more like it was funner to play, but Lords of Thunder looked cooler. Like Lords of Thunder's like theme and art style like kicks ass, but like I get bored playing it pretty quick.
That's so weird. I never get bored. I play through it.
I don't get bored. I just suck at it, I guess.
I suck at Gate of Thunder. I can get to stage 4 or 5 before I die, and once I die once in Gates, I'm fucked because wherever it starts,
you build your power ups, and
once you die, you're done.
It's got like the aesthetics of it for like a space shooter are pretty top notch.
Yeah, but it's so similar to other games. Like Gate of Thunder.
Yeah, Lords of Thunder's big appeal is that it's unique. Lords of Thunder has a shop system, which some other shoot 'em ups have, but not that many. Besides
like
magical chase and
there's nothing
quite a bit.
Like
there's an interesting medieval theme. Again, there's games like Soul Divide that are shoot 'em ups that have a medieval theme, but they're not anywhere near done as well done as Lords of Thunder. Lords of Thunder is a far more accessible game to the average video gamer who isn't big into shoot 'em ups, and at the same time is a more unique game. However, as a pure shoot 'em up, Gate of Thunder is probably a better, more polished experience, but it's also the type of game that is more of a shoot 'em up fans game only. If you're not big into shoot 'em ups, you're not going to like Gates of Thunder.
Well, the thing is, though, like
you might still like Lords of Thunder even if you're not big into shoot 'em ups.
Well, Lords of Thunder. Well, if you don't play it in the right order, the game's a fucking pain in the ass. All the armor and shit. Like that's
Use
the
the
one.
water armor.
Just use the earth armor.
Oh,
Done.
yeah.
Earth.
Like I don't know.
Just use the earth armor.
I
Done.
go for vertical shooters. Like if you sat me down and said, "Here, do you want to play
Image Fight 2.
Well, no, I would take Download 1 over Lords or Gate of Thunder any day. But
Download 1 is a. Oh, you're talking about just vertical shooters, or I mean horizontals?
yeah, well, like, and then like if you really sat me down, like I would pick like as far as vertical shooters, I would probably take like I would play Twin Bee over Lords of Thunder.
That's so weird.
Yeah, like I don't know why. I just like
He is weird.
I like
Right.
vertical.
Twin Bee's like my least favorite Konami shooter. It's like,
I like
so
I like
Yeah, I
the
don't know about Twin Bee.
the bell juggling is fun though.
I couldn't
But-
get into it.
Or I would play like Steam Hearts because there's titties.
Sure. But like Gradius 2, Parodius.
I hate those games.
all-
Anyways,
I
what I was getting into,
I love Gradius
Yeah.
2. Gradius 2 is super good on the PC.
like, as you know, Josh, I did this. I like fixed the sound in these like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah. A couple years ago, yeah, you enhanced the sound instead of
and
the
I
sound
made
effects.
this thing, and people have been at is 2 discs inside, and we got a remastered Fairy Boobs. But people have been asking for it, and it takes me if I print it all up in my office and cut it and try to make one of these, it takes me forever. And so I actually doing a reprinting. So probably early next month.
Why don't
there'll
you
be
have a CD place do it for you?
Is that what you're doing though?
yeah. I'm having the inserts, the back, and all the inserts for this professionally printed and cut, so I can just put them in the CD cases.
Why don't you
And-
have them do the CD part too? You can get a CD duplication.
Because
In Japan,
I-
it's not as easy as it is. And
everywhere I've looked to do CD duplication, it's cost way too much money, and I have a system, so
Are you talking duplication or replication?
both are terrible.
Because you're
I've
putting out
checked.
CDRs, like those should be cheap,
Um,
unless it's more
Yeah.
expensive in Japan. I don't know what you define as expensive.
I've checked, trust me. And anyways, I'm doing everything the best that I could find for the price that I could find. Things in this country, for whatever reason, is just way too expensive. But anyways, like they're not going to use the discs that I want. I went
Yeah.
out. I actually bought new old stock Taiyo Yuden discs, 650 megabyte ones that came from the Japanese factory that no longer exists. So they're probably like the best thing that compatibility wise that they've ever like made.
nice.
I don't think they've been made for like 5 years. I just happened to find some on Amazon, and as soon as I bought like 100 of them, they were gone. Like they sold. There are like 10 left, and they were just gone. So-
Wow, dude.
and then I went and found some more, and from a different seller. And once those are gone,
They're getting harder and
Yeah.
harder to find.
yeah, I mean they make them in Taiwan now.
Yes. Yep.
The CMC bought the technology from Taiyo Yuden, and they make them, and they seem good. But I'm telling you, these are better. So
Well, the 650 meg discs don't stretch the laser positioning as much. I think when we were talking about CDR compatibility with some of the old game systems, one of the problems is the 700 meg discs put
Mhm.
data in slightly different places
Hmm.
than a 650 meg disc would when you're burning to them, which can cause some compatibility problems as well.
That's annoying.
yeah, and like these old systems, it's one of the things that I'm always reluctant when I get a project like this. I'm making 50 copies again, and I'm pretty reluctant. Was reluctant to do so because no matter how hard I try, I mean, I have like a very nice burner and like a dedicated burning station, and I get the best media I can find and all this stuff. There's always going to be someone that has trouble reading a disc, and it's something I don't particularly enjoy dealing with. And it's always like someone with a TurboGrafx CD player or an IFU system. like 99% of the time.
Well, the one time, remember, it was that one scrub dude with like that shit console, and he kept bitching about it in all the groups. Then I just kind of kicked him out and told him to fuck off. But, I mean, that
I don't
wasn't
remember that.
fucking Jordan Bayless, that dude that like bought in,
Yeah.
showed up, wouldn't shut the fuck up, then he just like left because he
Yeah,
realized.
and then he's trying to sell his stuff on eBay for like thousands of dollars, including
Yeah,
like a copy of my thing. Yeah, it's like,
fucking.
and I mean, like, it goes without saying that if someone picks up something from me, I work with everyone to make sure that this stuff works. But you know, like some of these systems just they barely are playing like pressed regular games, let alone burn ones. So you gotta, it's a forever problem. But I'm excited to get this going. I have I'm going to be doing Cotton Remastered soon. I'm going to have that done. I got a really nice artwork done up for that.
Nice. Make sure you get
how
another.
you can improve on the music that's already in that.
What's that?
I'm not sure how you can easily improve on the music that's already in it.
He's not redoing the music. It's not a remix. It's a remaster. He's fixing those.
Just the quality levels.
Well, yeah, like the music's really
okay.
and soft and tinny. Like it sounds like you're listening, you know, out like through like airplane, like freebie headphones kind of thing. All I'm doing is just clean up and making it, trying to make it sound better.
Yeah, with Lords of Thunder and even Gate, some of that. And so it's interesting because, you know, you're so used to the game being a certain way that it didn't bother me ever. And once I played the remasters of Lords of Thunder, it's hard for me to go back to the original because in the original, you know, the sound effects and stuff, they mask over the actual soundtrack so much. And it's like you hear every single time you grab a coin, it's like, blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
crazy.
You should do the same thing for Sapphire because that game's sound effects are so loud and grating. It's horrible.
They are loud. What I was going to mention, though, by the way, the game that you need to do that for is Raisin Bar 3. That game has the most annoying sound effects. But one thing that's worth noting,
Raisin, isn't it Rick Sambar?
It probably.
We've been saying Raisin Bar for years.
Yeah, everyone calls it Raisin Bar. It's like Volfiv.
But what I was going to say, depending on which model system you're playing it on will depend on the sound effect volume. Like I've noticed a TurboGrafx Plus CD has a different, like the PCM audio to Redbook audio has a different level, then does a Duo, then does a Laser Active.
Is it like I think that it's how old and how shitty leaky your caps are is what I think, man. I don't think. I think more or less all of them are about the same.
I mean, keep in mind I have a few Duos, a TurboGrafx Plus CD, and a PC Engine Laser Active pack, and all of them have been recapped in the last 7 or 8 years.
And they all sound a little different.
They all sound a little different.
And what's coming after Cotton, Tim? You know what's coming after Cotton. You're going to make sure you have a whole spool of discs, and you're going to do Double Dragon 2.
Well, someone needs we've talked about this.
I know we have. Now I got you on the thing, and we're going to actually talk about it.
It's kind of like...
You're going to put the original arcade remastered, rearranged music into Double Dragon 2's PC Engine release so that we don't have the made-up versions that... Was it... what company is it that did Double Dragon 2? Oh, shit. It was not Technos, but the company that ported it to the PC Engine. God damn it. They did all those. They did all the Kunio games.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that is Technos.
No. There's a company that ported them, though, with Technos. Why can't I think of the name of the company?
They're
grab
awesome. Your copy. Go grab it, dude.
Oh,
Do you have it?
Fine.
Anyways, you know what
Anyway, yeah, we're going to put the rearranged
Oh,
music
do you mean
that has the
wait?
right music.
You're talking about like Naxat,
Naxat. Boom. That's
Taxan,
it.
whatever the fuck you want to call them?
Naxat. That's it. Naxat. Thank you.
Hey, you know what you guys should do? You should all go buy Final Fantasy 11 because it's on sale right now. You guys?
Yeah, I don't have anything
What,
to
on
play
Steam
on.
or something?
Yeah. It's
How
like
many
$10.
hours of your life in Soul does it cost now?
I don't know, but I'm a blue mage, so fuck everything.
That needs to be
I thought the Realm Reborn was what everyone was playing.
Well, no, 14 got so stale. Like they fucked up Red Mage, they fucked up Summoner. All the stuff I wanted to play, they made suck. Because what happened is, you know, Final Fantasy 11 came out. There's a clear mark in MMOs where things change, and it's called the release of World of Warcraft. After World of Warcraft, everything went to the tank healer DPS format. So Final Fantasy 14 follows in those footsteps, so you can only be a tank, a healer, or a DPS. But Final Fantasy, historically, there were classes that weren't any of those things. Like, they were support classes. So Red Mage was a support class on 11. They turned it into a DPS class. Do you know what DPS means, Josh? I don't know if you play MMOs. Like,
No.
Nobody knows the porn definition.
Yeah,
it's
double penetration.
It's damage per second. So like, it's your damage dealer. So they turned Red Mage into a damage dealing class.
Thank you.
That
I
has
can tell
never,
you, I can do some damage.
Sorry,
Red-
I'm reading our chat log, by the way, guys.
Red
Yes,
Mage has
Tim agrees
never
Lords of
done-
Thunder is better than Gate of Thunder. Thank you.
I like Twin Cobra or Tiger.
Tim
Heel.
who?
Tim Houston, my friend. I'm supposed to ask Andrew about Dylan Ward.
Fuck that guy. He was in Cyril's group. I don't even know what he was posting about. Something about sanding screens or selling like fucking slip discs. I don't know what the hell he was talking
If
about.
he were a Steven Spielberg movie from 1985, what would he be?
Huh?
If what? Now say this again.
If he were a Steven Spielberg produced movie from 1985, what would he be?
Cool. If
The
who
guy
what?
he was talking about.
Dylan Ward?
Yeah, I was asking Andrew.
He would be AI.
From
That's not-
1985.
It's not an 80 movie.
Oh wait, no. He can't be
Goonies?
anything. He could be anything from like a 19. That would be disrespecting Steven Spielberg.
Did you say it was the Goonies? Is that
Yes!
the
Like I mean, that's such a tame word. That was not where I was going with that. I was like, what vulgar words is Steven Spielberg? But no, I started just posting. Like,
the short bus?
yeah, fucking. I started posting like I was posting like insane clown posse gifs and stuff in his thread. He just started swearing at me, yelling at me, to block me. But that guy's an idiot.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. When Josh lost it over there. So Josh, like I wanted to tell you. So I know you wanted me to do like this double dragon thing.
Yes.
Penetration.
As soon as you pull yourself together. Doing these projects, it's not just like messing with the audio and putting it back to in the game. I have to like find someone to do the cover art, and I always like to have a sexy artwork done. I have to like hire an artist to do artwork and to get in like.
Yeah,
What?
but there's tons of Double Dragon stuff out there. I mean,
Dude, like, I will Google double dragon porn right now, and I'm sure I'll find a Bobo doing something interesting.
You guys,
Well, or just
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano, and that's good enough for me.
there you go.
the thing is that I don't, unlike PC works, I don't just go in and scan in and rip off everything and just make a new like a verbatim product here. I try to make
because
something
that's German efficiency, ah.
I like to make new stuff. So that's why it takes a long time to do this. And plus I have like the bad ADD. So I'll start a project and I'll like get bored of it and then move on to another one. And it takes a long time to like get things done.
No, completely understand. That's all good. That's a dream of mine, is to have a real Double Dragon soundtrack with the new game, because I love everything, and actually I've grown to like the Double Dragon 2 soundtrack on the PC Engine. I really have. I just really love the idea that it's a CD-based game. It's the only version of Double Dragon 2 that came out on a CD system in that 16-bit era, and we can kind of fix the soundtrack to fit that rearranged soundtrack.
Let's start it right now, man. Here, do you have the files? We can start it, but I need to design a package. I haven't even finished the cotton package.
Let's get your whatchamacallit done first, so we can do the fun stuff afterwards.
I got the cover art for Cotton done. It was a miracle. I got my friend in Osaka to do that, and it's like
That's
amazing.
awesome, dude.
Oh, did Benny do it?
Yeah, he did it. So, I have to go and I have to get like screenshots.
Did he go dead or did I go dead?
We're here. We can still
still
hear you, Dan.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Everybody's good on my end.
Yeah. But
You're still there, Dan?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh, I don't know how much time and work goes into like putting together something like this. But it's like it takes me forever to get all this bullshit lined up in Photoshop, right?
Yeah, probably. I can see that. Well, just take a good weekend and just do Double Dragon 2. Kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay. And I'll just But I'm sitting in the room that if you actually come to Japan, if you come to my house, you can sleep in this room. That's where I'm at right now.
Sweet.
I'm in the guest room.
Nice.
That's where I keep all this crap.
As
Play
we
with,
pan the camera
puzzle?
out, we see that he's actually inside of an Atari 5200 the whole time.
No, it's just a room. See, with a high ceiling.
Is that your
That's so
house?
cool. That is his new house. He
Yeah.
said his new
Yeah.
house. Dude, that's awesome with ladders and everything.
Yeah,
how they
they'll
get-
like. Oh no, I have place to store my junk. Like here.
Well,
There's
you
like a junk storage.
All right,
store
hold on.
your
And
junk.
there's more junk storage. This ladder actually comes down. I can move it around and stuff.
It's just like you. It goes down.
Oh, baby. Look, it's Japan. See? You can see out the window.
Oh my god, that's so cool. That's real.
Yeah, it's
real
real. Real life.
Where's your
Yeah.
cat?
I don't know. I could find her.
Yeah, let's do the house tour.
What happened to Tweak?
I don't know if my wife would like it because she's like doing things.
He
like
had audio issues and just dropped, and
That's right.
he never came back.
ooh.
What? You say Tamami's
We're
doing
outside.
crap? Just walk up and fucking DDT her if she gets licked.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep myself upstairs and not like be bad.
How many floors is in that place?
Two. It's a skinny, narrow house. I can
It's
do
still
like
super cool looking, dude. I love it.
Like-
the pictures that you shared online are so awesome looking.
I could show you like more later, but wife's like having like her lunch and stuff. I don't want to like put her on like the internets without her.
Well, we'll do this another time, and you can totally share.
Yeah.
Do it
So-
when I'm in Japan. I'll do the house tour with you.
That'd be awesome. And
Yeah, I was
speaking
in-
of
I was in
Japan,
Japan.
I'm thinking I could maybe come next year in November as my target date. So a year from now.
Yeah, end of October, November. It's a good time to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's less dumb foreigners if you go in the fall.
Well,
Sweet.
the weather's also tolerable. It's not like Wisconsin summer
Ugh.
because
Yeah.
it's the same. It's the summer is the same here. It's just as awful. You don't want to be here.
It's too hot. The giant hornets out in the
So,
mountain.
Tim,
Yeah,
just
you
to
don't
kind
wanna-
of picking up your accent, you're from Oregon or Washington?
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good spot on that.
Yeah, right. Dan's the
I'm-
guy. He does
How about
accents.
that?
He does accents.
I'm from Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah. So the idea is next November, a year from now, that's my hope is that I'll be in Japan.
Maybe I'll come at the same time and like slap you around while you're there.
That'd be fucking awesome. That'd be really
I always like to come at the same time.
wah, wah.
Hey Tim,
No,
we got the same headphones. Check us out. Fag.
Oh yeah. The MDR 7506.
Yeah, dude, same ones. Same Z's.
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
are twins.
But
That's
I
so
have
sweet.
Yeah, just like a little fun fact. Everything that has been released by me up to this point has been mastered using these headphones.
That is a fun fact.
Those aren't good
So,
for mastering though, because they're noise canceling, you dummy.
Dude, these are not noise canceling, you dumbass. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you want open back ones for mastering. They'll
You
probably
don't know
have,
what you're talking about.
probably have two sets.
You know what you're talking about.
These ones are good for recording.
You're high on
No,
crack,
man.
boy.
The closed back ones are good for recording, but they isolate sound. The ones that have the open backs are better for mastering.
What are you talking about, man?
There's like
I'd have to
whole-
hear it.
There's whole like discussions about this you can find online. I'm not making it up. Open
I
back.
don't care, man. These are studio monitor headphones. They sound
Yeah,
fine.
they're
I
monitor
use
headphones.
them.
Monitor headphones are for recording, not for mastering.
Shut up. And then I use my like studio monitor speakers and like check them, and yeah, you don't know, man. I've heard the way you master music.
What,
Lack
you-
of bass, like all like mid range and shit. I swear you need your ears checked, man.
Or I just don't want a shitload of bass in the stuff I'm putting out.
Everything you put out is like has no bass. You
It's like
gotta
it's like Injustice for All.
It is.
No, but no, like the open back ones are better for mastering.
I like open. Like my women open back.
You're using closed back ones though, you fucking peckerwood. Dead serious.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that shit means. They're headphones. They cover your ears. You can
Look.
hear the sound.
Open back. The there's an open back. It's not fully closed. It doesn't isolate the sound. There's a difference in sound. I bet you if you had these headphones, you'd be like, holy fuck. I was listening to stuff when I switched to these headphones, and you can like a good example is like listening to like the Cars, like their old albums. You can like hear the fret noises as they're playing guitar and stuff. It's like, holy fuck. You can't really hear them on these. It's a thing, man. I'm telling you. Not making
What kind of costs are those headphones? Like,
Yeah.
the ones that those. What are those?
These are like $80 maybe.
Okay, and the ones you have on your head right now?
Those are like more like $130, $150 headphones, not 80. I'd like to see where you can find them for $80.
Amazon.
7506s?
Yeah, I got them off Amazon for like I think $79.99.
And the ones that's on your head right now, how much were those?
Like $129 maybe.
And a reach around?
Yeah. What was funny though is when I bought them, Amazon had this thing where like if you sign up for our credit card, we'll give you a $50 gift card. And I'm like, sweet. These headphones just got cheaper because I got the credit card, got the gift card, bought the headphones, and then just paid the credit card off immediately and fucking laughed at them. So thanks, Amazon.
Yeah, I used to do shit like that until I stopped losing. Like I lost track of credit cards, and it's just bad, man. Yeah, no more of that.
A lot of them have minimum monthly purchases and things you have to use, or they put some sort of a service fee on the account. And
They'll actually
watch it, man.
They'll just close them out, but like my Best Buy one, they just shut the fucker off. Like, you don't use this anymore. We turn it off. PP touchers.
What?
Okay, Tim in our chat, because he's all alone talking to himself and to us, I suppose. He mentions that Wipeout has an outside the car camera option as well in the cockpit.
I haven't messed with the camera options.
Yeah.
Show you my cockpit.
Yeah, and he said he's watching in his underwear. Thanks.
Good job, dude.
All right, so any last words about Thanksgiving? Any last words about holidays, gaming memories, shit like that? I do have one memory of a really horrible Christmas. Not a long story, but an awful moment was, God, it was like when I was 15 or 16 or whatever, I got chickenpox for the first time, and I apparently didn't have the chickenpox vaccine when I was a child. So I got it when I was older, and I was deathly sick for the entire break of like Christmas break to New Year's.
Ugh.
And yeah, I was like bedridden, fucking chickenpox head to toe. It was disgusting. Anyway, during that time, we had family up, and they all hung out. We just played video games the whole time. I could barely like remember like being conscious enough to play games and stuff. I was like feverish and laying in bed the whole time. But the two games that I remember more than anything was my nephew Rob playing through the entire game of Dungeon Master on the Super Nintendo, JVC's port to the Super Nintendo version of Dungeon Master, and then Lost Vikings. Played some of that.
Lost Vikings.
Lost Vikings, so good. Soundtracks. I actually really grew to like the music and the sound effects and stuff in Dungeon Master too, because I was like,
Dungeon Master is a great game, man.
It is. It's awesome. Even the Super Nintendo port is really cool.
Yeah.
But like floating in and out of subconsciousness between dream worlds and stuff like that, I still have like good memories of like all that shit and stuff like that. It was really cool.
It's funny you mentioned that. One Christmas when I was in second grade, I got like the stomach bug or whatever real bad. And like, so the Christmas morning, I ran down the steps to where like the Christmas tree was, and I stopped and just puked all over the floor. Like, just full on, just like, oh. It was like right there, actually, where I'm sitting right now. I barf everywhere, and my sister runs upstairs. She's like, "Mommy, Daddy, Santa came, and Andrew puked." And like, I remember sitting with my dad, and he had to like help me open presents and remain coherent. But
oh God,
that was second grade. I remember I got Sonic Spinball that year. The game's fucking cool.
Nice.
That makes fun of it. The game's fun. And it was funny. I got Sonic Spinball and then took it to my aunts and my grandmas and stuff. We all played that game, and it was like the funnest shit to play, like pass the controller around.
Yeah, totally.
But that way we went to my grandma's, and I was like just like completely fucking gorked out on the couch watching one of my relatives play like Mario Kart. They're playing Mario Kart and like, do you remember Roadrunner Death Valley Rally?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
They were playing that kind of shit. I'm just laying there like completely fucking oblivious, like just like, huh. But so it's funny, like I associate Sonic Spinball with puking on the floor.
So do I, and I didn't have that same experience.
Everyone makes fun of Sonic Spinball, but that game
It's
is
different. It's still cool though.
The music in it is good. I don't like the way the game plays. I don't think it's a good pinball game. I don't think it's a good Sonic game, and I think it's a hybrid. It's just kind of weird and awkward.
It's by the same team that did Kid Chameleon, right?
I think so. The Spencer Nielsen, the guy who did the US Sonic CD,
Yep.
the soundtrack, also did that one, and the music is good. So that's
Yeah, I thought it was a fun game. I mean, yeah, it's not a Sonic or a pinball. It's right in between the two. It is kind of dumb, but I thought it was fun. Some of the levels are like legitimately interesting, and the mini games are fun as hell too. Like, it's okay, but the Game Gear one sucks. Don't play the Game Gear one.
yes.
No, play the Genesis one. The music's fucking cool in it.
Yep.
Good
Oh, Spencer Nielsen. He also did Batman Returns for Sega CD, which has really awesome music.
Oh, that game just has awesome everything.
That is a
Well,
pretty good.
not the platforming levels that came from the Genesis version, but the driving stages in Batman Returns for Sega CD.
The driving stages. They're hard as hell though.
Those,
Yes, they are.
those are some of the best driving stages I think of like any old game like that.
Oh yeah,
Right.
easily. And it was
awesome.
a game that took advantage of both the CD format and the scaling and rotation effects of the Sega CD. But
Yeah.
tied to a Thanksgiving memory, if we go back in time 10 years now on Thanksgiving/Black Friday, I remember going to Circuit City, which is now long since out of business. And at that time, they had a deal for the Xbox 360, which got you an extra controller, a hard drive on the arcade model, which was the cheap model that didn't normally come with a hard drive. And I'd like to say a couple of games were like $10. So I got this is my second one because my first one red ringed. I got a 360 with a 20 or a 60 gig hard drive, an extra controller, orange box, and a couple of other games. And my total was only like $230 at the time, which was way cheaper than that stuff would have been brand new. And it was a lot of fun to go home and play Portal for the first time.
Portal.
Portal's a cool game.
Yeah.
So yeah, Josh, I'm hungry. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. I haven't had my lunch.
So I think it's almost time for us to say goodbye and go bye-bye. Yeah.
Where the hell did Josh even go?
He just like left his own show.
Fucking invisible over here.
Like, I've gone to Narnia.
So, should I bust out the hentai manga and just start showing, like put it on
Yeah.
the screen?
Yeah, do it.
That'll
Dude.
ban the show, absolutely.
Yeah, let's get the.
Why? It's art. It's not porn.
I'll find like some like not so dirty stuff here. We'll put this one.
Yeah, that's
You know,
me.
yeah, let's see. Let's see. She's like, oh. Let's see.
And why don't they make it?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's so romantic. What a wonderful octopus monster. And
Oh, here, I'll cover up the spot, the naughty spot. Oh, oops.
What, are you like freaking Mr. Thumbs in the fucking Facebook groups? Cover
Yeah,
up-
here we go. Mr. Thumb.
Fuck that guy. That dude blows dogs for quarters.
Ooh, there's a color page in here.
classic gaming quarters.
Yeah, what happened to Josh? He doesn't keep the structure like so much this time.
No, I think it just went out the window because it's a holiday and none of us have to get up and go to work in the morning.
Oh, I see.
So normally we'd be struggling to stay awake into 10 o'clock Central, and
You guys would be. I wouldn't be. You're all a bunch of pussies.
like you guys get up in the morning. So yeah. Now, Ark, when you get to be our age, you'll start to get a lot tireder a lot quicker. Believe me. When I was, I'm thinking like you're like 30. When I was 30, I could stay up like all fucking night and not sleep, and now I'm, out at 9 at night usually.
Well, oh my God, you are awake.
Don't scare me like that. So, Tim, are you doing Thanksgiving at all tomorrow or today, whatever the fuck? Like,
No. But now that you guys have brought it up, maybe I'll go talk to Tamami and I'll now I feel like eating fried chicken.
hell yeah!
KFC.
I mean, have
maybe
you
I'll go
have you ever celebrated Thanksgiving since you've been in Japan? Like, have you explained it to Tamami about how we celebrate slaughtering Native Americans?
Well, I mean, we lived together in the States for quite a while, so we did Thanksgiving and everything. So yeah, I mean, but ever since coming back to Japan, Wait, did I? If you go to like the bigger cities, you find a restaurant will do up like a Thanksgiving dinner.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it is funny, and I think I did that. Like I went. Oh, and there was a American guy who had like a burger restaurant here. It's gone now, but he used to have it here in Sawgrass City, and he did up a Thanksgiving plate. So I had like Thanksgiving like food like once or twice since living here, but other than that, like no
Yeah, I mean,
real.
you're pretty boned in the turkey department, but I mean, you can find.
If you look hard, it is obtainable. It's just not. It's pretty uncommon.
Yeah, I mean, you just turkey and chicken, whatever. Just eat a chicken.
What about
Yeah.
pumpkin themed things? Can you find like pumpkin pie or pumpkin spice stuff there?
Pretty difficult unless you go to like a Starbucks and get like a pumpkin spice latte.
Which is weird because they have pumpkin stuff in Japan. I don't think they use it like we do, though.
Well, pumpkin here, like it's like a different type of pumpkin. It looks more like a squash.
Yeah, I think like just the cooking style is so different that I think they just don't think to do that shit. Like we have pumpkin roll, and I showed my friends that like their minds were blown by pumpkin roll, and I'm like, this is just normal ass shit.
Oh man, you guys are making me hungry.
I'm gonna go eat some Chef Boyardee after this, man. Tell you what.
So yeah, I guess this show, Josh abandoned his show.
Wait, what the hell is he doing now? Is he pounding one out in the other room?
I don't know. Is he into that sort of thing? Like during his show, like should I bust out
the closet pulling a fucking David Carradine or something?
Oh, I my car got someone hit it again. So I went to Suzuki dealer to get it fixed, and they gave me like these free like stickers, and I don't know like for the new Jimny like car. I don't know what to do with these. Does anyone want these like stickers and buttons?
I want that fucking Rhino, dude.
Yeah, the Rhino looks cool.
You want? How about the buttons? Do you guys want some?
Just go crash your car again so you can get another set. So we can both get a set.
Like here's we got buttons here like for the new. This is like the Jimny. You guys know about the Jimny? It's like a little SUV that Suzuki makes here in Japan. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I got like this collector set. So whoever wants them, just
are you still driving the Hustler? Is that what you're still driving?
Yeah. If someone wants these like stickers and buttons, just give me some money for shipping and I'll ship them to you.
I'll buy them off you or one of them. I don't want to buy them both if Dan's getting hard over the Rhino. Just go crash your car again. You can get
Dan needs a copy of Lords of Thunder and Gate of Thunder remastered is what he needs. So Dan, you should get that for me. Take Josh's advice; he'll say to get it.
More like Gay of Thunder.
That's coming soon.
Miss Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Right, Joshua. Tell everyone to buy it because I'm gonna.
Tim,
am I telling people to buy?
Does this make you hungry?
Gay and not sort of.
It's a dog sandwich. It's like Chinese.
I want a dog sandwich. No, I was just saying I'm doing my reprint of Gate and Lords of Thunder remastered.
Yes, you should absolutely buy them. I absolutely. I have I've gotten them all, and I did some videos.
I got the download 2 from Tim, and then I sold my real download 2 to someone for like I don't know whatever it was worth. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Like, don't give a shit.
Yeah, once those releases come out and people think that they can't get them anymore, they think they're like super valuable and stuff. I got that from like some of Tim's stuff, some of the Turbo Reproduction stuff, and even like PCE Works. Those guys are all like, "Oh, I missed out on that." Or even like Atlantean. When Atlantean came out, and you're like, every time they come out, you're spamming them on like every board, and it's like, okay, you fucking idiots, I got 60 more of these, and you're sitting on them. 6 months later, finally you still have like 10 left, and finally you get rid of them. And as soon as you get rid of them, people are like, "Oh, I'll pay you $100 for that." It's like, dude, you're an idiot. Like they were just available.
You lost your chance.
And then there's people that want it and they pass on it. Like fucking Cyril did that. He's like, I got better stuff to spend my money on. I'm like what? Another System 1.0
Another card? System 1 card. I know he's got like 50 of them.
And now like I don't have any, and like he didn't ask for them, but I don't like. I think if I got some and he wanted one, I would just tell him no at this point. Like sorry.
Yeah, I somehow luckily I lucked into 2 at one time of Atlanteans. I had the first blue ones, and then I got the newer ones.
Yeah, I want to make more work. We're trying to make the trays again, but I'm trying to find an easier way
to buddy, there it is. That's a sexy one. Yeah,
buddy. I'm trying to find an easier way to make the cases.
I have the blue one.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shapes.
That's the original, right?
No, the original blue was the seafoam blue that kind of.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay, they're both.
Yeah,
blue.
the label didn't stay on it. I think I have like number 3 or
Andrew,
4.
you gotta make a new game on HuCard and do it all pink.
I want to do it, but I need to make a game first.
Oh yeah,
He's working on one. He's got
Reflectron.
like 30% done. Yeah, just
Yeah,
put
yeah.
Reflection.
Yeah, I mean, people if people would pay that, people would probably pay $50 for Reflectron.
And the rays. I mean, look at that. The rays like logo like on the in the plastic.
Dude, you're more of an advertisement than Andrew's ever been for his own shit.
Well, that's because I don't have a cheerleading squad. Most people, like, you get tweaked because your games are gay, they're shit, I'm not buying them, fuck you. All right. But
nice.
I don't we advertise and they sell, but we don't, like, after people buy them, they never talk about them or post about them. We get, like, no feedback. Like Inferno, like, there's been, like, no posts or any, like, reactions or reviews or anything. Like,
what's Inferno on?
MSX.
Yeah, no shit. It's on the MSX. That's why.
Download 2 remastered. Joshua has like the first bastard edition, like with the black case and the bad printing. These are like the good ones.
Like yeah. I love one. That's actually the best way to play it.
Well, there's hardly any like Atlantean videos. There's like yours and like 2 other people, and that's like it.
Andrew, all you gotta do, take Atlantean and send it to some like YouTubers and
send it to Metal Jesus. Send it to Metal Jesus or Gamester81.
A couple people I gave like promo ROMs to, and then they fucked off with them and never did anything. And I'm like, all right,
you gotta send a physical copy.
You gotta send the actual physical copy, yeah.
Well,
yeah, send it to what's his face?
Not to sound like a dick, but like the amount of effort it goes into making one Atlantean, I'm not just gonna give it away for free.
Yeah, but if Happy Console Gamer does a video, then I'll sell you 50 of them.
But the thing is, we always sell out of the batches we make. It's just the fact that we get no real feedback on the game is kind of annoying. Like, no one talks about or like posts or reviews. Like, a couple people reviewed it, and then everyone goes, "The shark boss is too hard." And I'm like, I don't know what to do about that, because the shark boss
is too hard.
I do remember there was a Atlantean like high score thing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well, we had like the core like PCEFX crowd. They were all about it. But like outside that, when you got to Facebook, people are just dumb on Facebook, I guess. But yeah, a lot of people like apparently get their shit pushed in by the shark, and I just laugh because there's a gimmick to the shark, and once you know it, it's like you can just beat it without getting touched. It cracks me up that people can't figure it out, because everyone, like, there's people that this happened at CCAG. There's these people that would walk around talking about all like the bullet hell games they play. I'm like, okay, you can play bullet hell games if you're getting killed by a shark, like in this really stupid game I made, and it's not a complicated pattern to identify. So I don't understand what the hell these people are doing. So I just kind of laughed. But like, do you want to know,
Joshua? When you were gone, I was flipping through my hentai manga and showing it to the screen and stuff.
Do you know that, Josh? Do you actually think the shark is hard, or do you know how to beat it?
I don't know how to beat it, but I have beaten it, but I haven't figured out a pattern.
I haven't beat it. I need to play that game some more.
You should, Tim. You should play it and see if you can identify the shark pattern.
Okay.
Do that.
I will. I'm off work for the next few days. I'll totally.
All you have to do is it's level 2.
I just been hammering out. I'm getting pretty far in East 4 now. I just finished this. I just got through a Darm Tower again.
Tower.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
That's what I'm so hungry though, Josh. So we gotta end this thing.
We gotta
I'm
end
just gonna leave.
That's true. We went 2 hours tonight. It's been awesome. Tim, thank you for being on. Arky and Dan, you're always on, but I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks everybody for listening. If you stuck around for the full 2 hours, I will give you reach around and finger bang. So thank you for everyone for listening. Hope you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving break. If you wish to follow us, you can check us out on all the social medias. I'm on Twitter @_Joshua Turbo. Don't forget the underscore, as it is the most important underscore in all the internet. Of course, Facebook.com/gamehuggers and anything else gamehuggers related on YouTube, on TuneIn, on Podomatic. We're everywhere. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Happy holidays. We'll talk to you.
Happy Kwanzaa. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.